Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Ron Henry Live Here live stream. My name is Ron Henry. Thank you guys for so much for hanging out tonight. This show is all about you guys, where I take your lawn care questions, try and answer them the best I can. Sometimes I have the answer, sometimes I don't. But anyway, we have a really good time. So if this is the first time you're doing this or joining the show, welcome. And the way it works is you simply just post your questions down into the chat, and then I work through them in the order that they come in. So it's always a fun time. And to everyone, at least in the United States, happy 4th of July weekend. You know, it should be a fun time. Hopefully you guys will have a lot of fun and safe and, lots of great things planned. But let's get into it. Let's see who we have here in the house tonight. So we got Chris Balducci. He says, "Good evening, Ron, everyone. I missed last week, but I'm back." Now, are you doing like the John Wick "I'm back," or are we doing the guy like in Independence Day, like the fighter pilot scene "I'm back"? Either way, but it's cool, good to have you back here, Chris. Good to see you in the live stream as always. And we always have LG in the house. He's like, it's going on. He says, it's time for the Great Ron Henry Show. I don't know about great, but it's a fun time either way. So thanks for coming to hang out, LG. I always appreciate you, sir. Always appreciate you. And then we got JC in the house. What's going on, JC? Looks like you got a go-kart there going on, man. Looks pretty cool. Very nice. Very, very, very cool. All right, guys. Well, it's going to be a fun evening tonight. I got a couple of questions that I had to go over, a question you guys had for me about a herbicide that I got to get to tonight, as well as I'm going to be showing you guys some of the results from a viewer. So, it's really easy for me to show you guys, hey, yeah, look at Ron's lawn. It looks great, and yada yada yada. He does everything he does to it. But how well does the program translate over to someone else, right? And someone else that's not even like Alex, not somewhere you have someone like me, like hand holding and right there saying, you got to get out and mow. Someone's just doing it all on their own. What kind of results can you expect to get? So stick around the show for sure to see that. A little later on, I got some pictures and something I've been working on with a viewer that I think you guys are going to really like. All right, so our first question we have this evening is from Mark Rieser. Mark says, "Hey Ron, appreciate all your great info. I ordered 10 pallets of Tifway 419. Very nice, sir. Very nice." He says, "What would you do to prep Georgia red clay prior to laying down the new sod?" Great question. Okay, so assuming that whoever's going to be doing it, if you're doing it yourself, then what I'm going to say, absolutely do it. If you're having someone else install it, they might be putting out a fertilizer themselves as part of their installation process. So in that case, I would not do that portion of the advice I'm about to give you. So what I would do is two things. The first is I would look for some kind of a starter fertilizer, something like that to apply, like something that's balanced, like a triple 12. You're in Georgia, so there's site ones all over the place. You can probably find one there. If you're not doing it this weekend, you should just order it. So they may not have shown up yet. But if you are looking to do something online, what you can do is go to the golf course lawn store, and then the balanced fertilizer, the starter that I like is this one here. It's from Yard Mastery. It's a triple 12. This is a fully balanced in the sense that you have your NPK, and it also has a complete micronutrient pack added to this as well. So this is what I would recommend as far as what we're going to use to feed the new sod. If you've got a site one nearby, then you can also go get some Carbon Pro G. What that is it's like half biochar, half compost, and it also has a microbial package that's going to help with rooting. Prior to all this lawn nuts starting to buy up all the Carbon Pro G and putting it on our lawns, what Miramichi Green, or what Site One mainly used to sell it for, who they used to sell it to, are landscapers that were putting in like high value ornamentals, so more expensive plants, and they wanted to really maximize the chances of the plants rooting properly, so they use Carbon Pro G as a base for that. But if you can swing it, man, you can get yourself a couple bags of that. That would be good to lay down prior to putting the sod down. So what I would do is put your starter fert down, Carbon Pro G down, and then lay your sod on top of it, and then just water it to get it to root in nicely. As outside of that, you should be good to go. If you can't get Carbon Pro G, like if you live somewhere in Georgia where there's not a site one nearby, which is I kind of doubt, but if you can't get that, an alternative is Essential G. This is like Carbon Pro G 2.0 from Miramichi Green. The same people that make Carbon Pro G make this product. So that is what I would go with. So one of those two and a starter fert is what I would go with, and that's going to do really, really well for getting your new sod to root in nicely. And this time of year, there's plenty of heat, so there shouldn't be any problem with the sod getting established, assuming you do a good job like with watering and everything else. But yeah, it's a great time of year to do it, and those two things will really help improve your results. So definitely keep us posted on how the project goes, and we'll stay posted. Thank you so much for the question. Okay, so we have another point here. We got Mr. LG in the house. He says, what's up, at Ron Henry? I sprayed the carbon kit and Turfplex and Nutrizolve earlier. Now getting ready to drop some granular hydrotane, all from your store. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate the support. And that's a potent combination, man. That's a potent combination. I think you guys would really, it's crazy how that suite of products coupled with regular mowing, so like good like cultural practices, really can transform a lawn. On that vein, I'll show you guys the results from a viewer. Because I know that the theme of this show is really what your summer projects are, right? So like we're like, I don't say necessarily halfway through the season, but we're getting like at least a third way through the main warm season, growing season anyway, right? So I'm interested in hearing what you guys are planning from like July through August and maybe even into September to do to your lawn. Like what are the things that you're really trying to do to really try and maximize your lawn, maybe doing a renovation of some sort. I'm going to show you some content from a viewer here. His name is Daryl. You guys have probably seen Daryl in the live stream around before. And in March, Daryl reached out to me saying, hey, I want to get I want to get a real mower. What's the best way to go about doing that? So I said, man, get on Facebook Marketplace. That's going to be that's where you can find them, fairly inexpensively. People are always selling them. So he did that. And this is Daryl in March. He's shopping around, getting his True Cut. He brings it home. That's what he ended up with. He got, I think it's a 20 inches what he has there. And these are they're modeling the mower and his stripe action T-shirt. And as things go, as these things progress, as these things tend to go, you're never quite good enough, right? You're never quite happy with the way things are. So this is how his lawn looked in early April. So lawn's greening up. It doesn't look terrible, right? But it's it looks probably how most Bermuda grass lawns look. So he decides it's time to step it up, right? He goes out, grabs a lot of Carbon Pro G. Mark, the very same product that I was telling you about. He does that because he decides he's going to do a full lawn renovation. He gets out an aerator and starts aerating his lawn. So right now he's going through the entire process that what I recommend around top dressing, which is aerating the lawn, putting down a lot of carbon material, whether it be in the form of a 70-30 mix, but if you can also swing it, doing something like Carbon Pro G also works really well too. So he did that. And then it started getting serious. My man got, I think it was like 7 yards, he told me, of river sand. And, plus 10 points for the improvised drag mat there. So it looks like he's got, I'm not sure what that is. It looks almost like a scaffolding or something. He's got 2 big logs on it to hold it down. You're not going to find that on Amazon, but it works, right? Got the job done. Like most lawn projects, there's sometimes setbacks. Daryl, if you guys remember, we were talking about PGR, about some issues that you can have with plant growth regulator. This picture, if you look at it, he over applied. He went like 4 times the actual rate. And if you look, you see a little bit of yellowing in there, like to the bottom of the picture there. So he damaged the grass a little bit, but he stuck with it. He stuck with his mowing. He stuck with the same concoction that LG's talking about: Turfplex, Nutrizolve, the Carbon Kit, along with Humic Max. And these are pictures of his lawn today. He literally sent these to me today before the live stream. So this is what his lawn looks like today. And it's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. That color looks better than my lawn. That looks really, really, really good, sir. So, for any of you guys, look at that vanity strip, guys. Can we take a moment to just appreciate that vanity strip? That's definitely looking better than mine is looking right now. Incredible. And so what I say all of this is to show you guys is that it is possible. Like, it's not just, someone like me can pull these kind of results off. It's just with a lot of hard work and dedication and lots of mowing. He's always really hardcore on his mowing. You can get really, really good results. So Daryl, I salute you, sir. Excellent work. You like you said, you wrote me at the beginning of the season saying you're all in and you're gonna do the entire program. He's in the Golf Course Lawn Academy, so he followed like pretty much everything that's in there. And just, a lot of perseverance, a lot of consistency, and those are the results. So I just want to share that with you guys. Really fun story. I told him I would do it. Try not to embarrass him too much, but whenever you guys really, really slay it, I got to brag on you a little bit, So that's the real payoff for me, seeing you guys get awesome results. And his lawn looks pretty incredible. All right, so our next question now is from Sanj Singh. He says, what's the best way to rejuvenate areas of a lawn that are dead dirt, just dead dirt, okay, no microbes or nutrients at all, and get it to be soil again? So, when you say it's dead dirt, I don't know if there's really such a thing, but as far as things you can do, Sanj, if the soil is just not healthy, if you can bring in some compost, some rich topsoil just for that area. Because you said you're saying like it's a few dead spots, so it's not like the entire lawn. I might just honestly, for me, I would top just probably the entire lawn. But if you just want to take care of just the dead spots, get yourself like some carbonized PN. Like that stuff is, you talk about as far as like a rich organic material that is like it's half biochar, half compost. Just very, very rich, like just very, very rich stuff that anything will grow in. That is what I would go with. You can get yourself a few bags of that, depending on how big the areas are. You didn't see how big they are, but something like that is what I would go with for just some spot top dressing or spot to try to improve the areas, the quality of the soil in some small areas. I've done that in a few spots on the lawn where I had to get it dug up for irrigation, and it does really well. Like all the grass planters that you guys see me mentioning in the YouTube stories, sometimes when I'm mowing in the morning, like all those grass plots are all growing in carbonized PN and Essential G. Literally, there's nothing else in there but carbonized PN. So it's very, very rich stuff. If you're looking for something that's going to really help, a spot of your lawn bounce back, that is what I would go with. So thanks for the question. Hopefully that helps. If not, or if there's more to it, drop another question, drop another note, a follow up down there in the chat, and I will revisit it. Thank you so much for hanging out. All right, LG says smooth move with the GM 1600s to show off. Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I decided to finally change up the intro. I figure you guys seeing a static screen all the time is kind of boring, so I finally got around to doing something different. And I say, Fergus, you know what? I'm always talking about mowing. So what can I do? I was thinking about doing something with top dressing or whatever. But instead I said, I'm just going to just do mowing. And I'll make sure I do some whip turns. You guys can see that. So anyone that wants to see how to do whip turn, watch the beginning of the live stream once this is all done. And you can see what that is like. And on the note of like, not necessarily on the note of mowing, but on the note of, helping you guys like really get your lawn projects going for this second half of, or this, I guess, 2/3 that's left in the growing season for warm season grass anyway. Tonight we're going to be doing a giveaway. So tonight, if you guys are interested in it, I mean, some of you guys may care, some of you may not care. We're doing two things. We're going to do a My Soil test kit. So you can, those of you that are new to the program or new to just figuring out what's going on in your lawn, you can figure out exactly what kind of fertilizer to use. In addition to that, we're going to be giving away a gallon, just a taste of that good stuff, of Turfplex 20-3. This has become a staple in my lawn and in certainly anyone that's in the Golf Course Lawn Academy that's doing the program that I do. That is the liquid fert of choice that we're running with. So those two are going to be we're going to be giving those away tonight, or I should say we're going to start the process tonight. The actual winners will be announced next week, but stick around so you can figure out what you have to do in order to be eligible for the giveaway. All right, so thanks, LG. And let's see, we got Daniel Robinson in the house. He says, hello, Ron. The grass is looking great. I appreciate all your videos and words of wisdom. It's really helped. You're very, very welcome, sir. Thank you for watching. Robert Rainey's in the house. He says, sitting over the lawn that's been trenched from irrigation is so painful, but awesome at the same time. Yeah, so Robert sent me pictures of his lawn. So he got his irrigation system installed using the the traditional method where they actually dig a trench, lay the piping. And he didn't do like what Alex did, the vibratory trenching with the ditch switch. And Robert, even though there's that does do more damage, more trauma to your lawn, there are some advantages to that. So when Austin from Mayfield Irrigation was out and I was talking to him about it, I said, with vibratory trenching, why wouldn't everybody just do that instead of trenching their irrigation anymore? And he says, while the vibratory method is good from a standpoint of like not much trauma to the lawn, what he said is that the negative to it is that if you're ever, like you say, you're pulling sometimes more than one piece of pipe when you're trenching the lawn, and you have the two pieces of pipe really near each other, he said that can cause issues where if a stone or anything gets there, like that is how cracks in irrigation pipe tend to happen a lot. So for him, he doesn't even do that. He doesn't do the ditch switch method. He trenches. So even though it does a lot more damage, he says you have more control over how the piping is spaced out. If you have to do a repair, the piping is not right up next to each other like they would be with the vibratory trenching. Hopefully you never have to repair your irrigation system, but there are advantages to having it done the way you did yours. So just keep that in mind. And plus, with as hot as the weather is now, as much heat as we're getting, you are absolutely your lawn's gonna bounce back really quickly. The pictures you sent me, they actually did a really good job, and I think in a couple of weeks you're gonna be happy with how it looks. All right. Joseph Roberts is in the house. He says, happy Independence Day to everyone. Came home triple cut and made it in on time. You triple cut today? Man, you are hardcore, man. That is wild. So today is one of the few days of the year that I cut my lawn and I actually had the grass catcher on, the basket on the front. It's funny, man. The mower, that little bit extra weight on the front of the mower, the cut looks beautiful. Looks really good. But it also, just a little bit extra weight also lowered the height of cut a little bit too. It actually got a little lower than it normally does, but the cut looks incredible. I may have to start doing that more often. And as far as how much clippings came out from mowing the entire lawn, it's like about a full bag and a half of those those brown paper bags you get at Home Depot. So not a lot of clippings given 12,000 square feet. Very, very cool. So I'm glad you got your cut in, man. You can let the lawn recover and just have it looking all nice for the weekend. Very cool. All right, Alexander Thomas is in the house. He's saying, "What's up, everybody? What's going on, Alex?" And Thomas Tucker's in the house. And we got Fernie C. He's got a question. You're making me relive some trauma, Fernie. He says, "What's up, amigo? What's up?" He says, "What are you slapping on that Weber this weekend? Has the same Amazon driver made his appearance again?" It's funny. It's funny about that. So for any of you guys who don't know what Fernie's talking about, I had an issue probably 3 weeks ago, where an Amazon driver backed in and backed over like two parts of my lawn, and when they drove out, they drove over the right part of the lawn. So like they hit it like everywhere they went. The only thing they didn't do is like a burnout in on the front lawn, which would have been horrific, but I guess also kind of hilarious too, right? But no, they have not been back. I actually asked another driver when he came and says he was delivering something like the following day. He says, "No, man, he says a different driver every time. Like literally, they don't. It's not like UPS where they have certain routes. Like literally, you'll get a different driver like every single time someone comes to your house for the most part." And as far as what I'm putting on the grill this weekend, I'm going kind of basic, man. You guys are going to probably call me out saying I'm being lazy, and I am being a little bit lazy, but it's mainly going to be hot dogs, man. It's going to be hot dogs, and but the good thing is, I'm not sure if Alex is watching this, but the thing is, I know is that Alex next door is going to be laying it down. They don't mess around when it comes to food, man. I think they're doing ribs and let me see, they're doing fried wings, deep fried wings. Like one of his family members has this really good recipe for like breading the wings, and he's going to be doing that. So I'm doing hot dogs as like a consolation, but I'm going to be like migrating back and forth between lawns and eating. So there's going to be plenty of great food. Just a lot of it's just not going to be coming from me, unfortunately. But this will be a good time. The lawn people will be out there playing, what's it called? Bocce ball. You just ever play that? It's like almost like lawn pool. Be doing that. Got to play cornhole because we're in the South. Got to do that. It's a staple. And just overall, just have a good time and just hang out. CJ Martin's in the house. What's going on, CJ? Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. Matt, what's going on? Kevin Sheehan, he's saying, "Happy 4th, guys. Happy 4th to you, Kevin. Happy 4th to you." And then Nestor Reyes is in the house saying, "What's up, everyone? Still at work, but I'll take 2 to 3 hours break to watch the Ron show." That's cool, Nestor. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate the support. I'm glad you can take like a couple hours break at work and watch the show. That's kind of cool. And Super TA's in the house, as always. He says, "Bill up here in New Jersey, listen to you while I switch it up. Mowing with the Earthwise 7-blade. Nice. Very cool, man. It's something different, I guess, but yeah, why not? And then the next question we have here is from Headshot King, or Hotshot King. Hotshot King. He says, "Happy Friday, Ron." He says, "I'm leveling and overseeding next week." Okay. He says, "I have a steep hill on the front. How do I deal with runoff? And on the back is slightly U-shaped back. Please help and thanks." Okay. I'm not sure what you mean by U-shaped. I'm trying to think about that. Like a bowl, I guess. Is that what you mean? Okay. So on the front, the big thing that's going to help with the slope that I have found, Hotshot King, is making sure that you incorporate aeration to the top dressing process. So don't just get out there and just drop a bunch of sand on the lawn. Make sure that you also aerate it. I don't know if I have a picture here. If I can probably find the one from Daryl again, where he did it, what that should look like. It should look something like that. So you want to go through and beat the lawn up pretty strong. What you see here is his lawn is a slope. His lawn is a slope, and he aerated it, and he had no issues with runoff that I was aware of. And the same thing for my lawn. When I top dressed in late April, early May, yeah, I also aerated the entire lawn and then top dressed it. So as far as like preventing runoff or preventing like the top dressing material from running off the slope, definitely aerate. top dress, and when you top dress, go light. Don't beach the lawn. Don't turn the entire thing into a beach. There are people that do that, and again, just saying there's anything wrong with it. You can do that. It can work, but it's going to take the lawn longer to recover from that. And it's something really I'd only do if you're dealing with a flat lawn. Like if your lawn is completely flat and you want to go really, really heavy, again, not something that I necessarily recommend. But it's something that can work. On a slope, you absolutely cannot do that. You gotta make sure that you go light. When I say light, a quarter to half an inch of top dressing material. If you can also leave the grass just a little bit longer, so 3/4 of an inch or so, so you have something to kind of hold on to that top dressing mix. That's going to help with runoff. But between aeration, going light, and then leaving the grass a little bit longer, that's going to do a lot for helping you. Are helping the top dressing mix stay in place. You're going to not have issues with runoff. Like I give you an example. I got 6 inches of rain over the 2 days following top dressing the lawn, and I didn't lose any sand. No sand was on the sidewalks. No problems at all. So just follow my advice. Go light. And just, and make sure you incorporate aeration into the process as well. As far as the back lawn, same thing. The U-shaped, if we're just talking about it being U-shaped, hopefully there's an area for the water to drain. Like I would fix any kind of major drainage problems prior to top dressing, but if you're talking about something that's just very mild, again, top dressing will help with that. Make sure you aerate, go light, and you should get a great result. As far as overseeding, I cover that in the video that I did on top dressing. The big thing that you're going to want to do after that is just making sure that you just water, man. Water, and water some more. Like literally, the water bill is going to be more expensive in most cases for most people than the seed, right? You're looking, you're thinking about watering typically 3 times a day for 3 weeks. So just do the math on that, right? It's going to be expensive. So something to keep in mind. Outside of that, if you do a good job with the top dressing, you should have no problems, no issues really with anything else. But yeah, congrats. It's a hotter time of the year to do it, but this time of the year is when we did Alex's lawn. Literally, we did his lawn the week after the 4th of July, and it came out really nice. So now's a great time to do it. You got plenty of time for the lawn to bounce back. And thanks so much for the question. Great question. All right, so we got CJ Martin. He's talking about what he's going to be planning to do this season. He's doing a height of cut reset on Monday, scarifying, putting down some fur to recover. Looking forward to it. Nice. That's very cool. Very, very cool, C. Martin. Yeah, I see some people doing that. Like, if the grass got away from them a little bit, if they're not mowing quite as much, or they just want to do something different, right? I mean, there's still plenty of time in the growing season for warm season grass. So if you want to do a height of cut reset, that now's a good time. And waiting to do it after the 4th of July weekend is probably, that's time to do it. Because no expectations until, I guess, September-ish or so. So, yeah, you got plenty of time to play and mess around in the lawn if that's what you want to do. Okay, Bren T has a question about fungus. He says, I got rid of dollar spot in late April. It seemed, but now it's back as of this week. Can I fire up the propiconazole, or do I need to switch to a different active ingredient? I would try propiconazole again, Brent T. And another thing, here's the thing, with when it comes to dollar spot, in Bermuda lawns, if the lawn has enough nitrogen in it, but dollar spot I've not seen that to be a huge issue in Bermuda lawns that have adequate nitrogen. It's almost like a balancing act, right? You have too much nitrogen and humid conditions, you end up with like brown patch or summer patch in your lawn. And the converse is if you don't have enough nitrogen, dollar spot tends to be more of a thing. So I would check that if you've not, if you're not fertilizing your lawn, you haven't checked to make sure that you haven't done a soil test at all. I would check your levels and make sure you're getting enough nitrogen in it, because that really shouldn't be an issue, especially around this time of year, right? But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I would just hit it with propiconazole again at the curative rate. I'm not sure how you're putting it down, but just follow the label for however you're doing it. And I would do that again. But I'm kind of surprised that this time of year, especially if you are doing all the other things like you're fertilizing your lawn properly, that you're still dealing with dollar spot. If you're sure that it's actually dollar spot, but yeah, that is what I would do. And yeah, great question. Thanks so much. And I'm sorry you're dealing with that. That stinks, man. I know that fungus and grubs are things you absolutely just don't want to have in your lawn. They can make a mess. All right, Moro's in the house. Moro Marcelo, what's going on, Moro? Thanks for coming to hang out. Bush to Kush is in the house. It's like the best. It's like the best avatar ever. Bush to Kush. He says, "What's up, Ron? Happy 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, sir. Thanks for coming to hang out. Hopefully, you and your loved ones are going to have a fun and safe 4th of July weekend. Don't do anything too crazy." And let's see what else we got here. Daryl's in the house. Daryl, hopefully you were in here when I was bragging on you earlier, talking about your lawn and how you threw down PGR, how you had some setbacks and how your lawn recovered and now looks awesome in many ways. The color of your lawn in some spots looks better than my lawn, man. It looks really, really, really good. So great work. Papa Mo's Low's in the house. Always someone that's always supporting the live stream. Thanks for coming to hang out, Papa Mo's Low. It's very cool. Very good to see you. And so we have Cedric Thompson, and he says, I got my hands on some Carbon Pro L. It made more sense than just to keep buying Carbon Pro G at $32 a bag. I paid $159 for 1 gallon, 129 square feet. Yeah, I got you. I hear you, Cedric. The thing is, even though Carbon Pro L and Carbon Pro G both have the name Carbon Pro in the name, that's about where the similarities stop. They are very, very different products. I mean, they're kind of like branding under Lesco/Site1's carbon line, but the way the products work and what's in them is very different. You're gonna get a good result with either one of them, but just I don't want you to think that Carbon Pro L is necessarily a substitute for Carbon Pro G. You really want to be doing both of them if at all possible, but you're going to get great results with that. Something I want to go through too. So I've gotten a lot of questions from you guys around backpack sprayer on calibration. Like some of you guys have been asking me, like, what kind of walking pace do I need to have? How long do I have to cover 1,000 square feet? Like, how do I figure that out if I'm not using a flow zone? So really quickly, because we have Cedric's question here, I want to go through that. So it's going to be some really basic math. But I promise you're going to get through it. So I don't have my gallon thing here in front of me. Actually, I can grab it really quick. Makes this a lot easier. Grab my gallon container. So I've got a prop. All right. So you're going to have one of these. To be able to calibrate your sprayer, regardless of what you have, whether it is a flow zone or something else. Get my stuff hooked back up here. What you're gonna need to do that is one of these guys. What I recommend is one of these. So there's a couple ways of going about it. You can either spray for, go from like 0 to 128 fluid ounces, which is 1 gallon, and seeing how long it takes for it to do that. I don't really recommend doing it that way because one, it takes longer, and then second, to actually know when you've actually hit this when the sprayer is running flat out, a little bit harder, okay? So what we're gonna do is something that's gonna require some really basic math. This is actually covered in the Golf Course Lawn Academy, but I've gotten the question so many times here lately around like sprayer calibration that I figured I was gonna do a small segment here and just tell you guys how I do it. There's a couple ways to do it. This is how I would do it. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get one of these. It's got a gallon in it, right? And you're gonna spray, you can put water in your backpack sprayer, make sure it's fully charged up, and you're gonna spray for 15 seconds. You're gonna get like your cell phone or something, have someone time you, start your timer, and you're gonna spray for 15 seconds. Once you're done doing that, stop spraying and then see how much water you've got collected in here. All right, see how much water's in here. I can tell you with a Flow Zone Typhoon 2, it's gonna be somewhere between 20 to 21 fluid ounces. And what you're gonna do then is you're gonna take whatever that number is. So we're gonna take in this example, the Flow Zone, right? So it's 21 fluid ounces. And you're gonna take 128, which is the number of ounces in a gallon, and you're going to divide it by whatever that measured number is, okay? Whatever that measured number is. So again, in our case of the flow zone, it's going to be 21. 128 divided by 21. I know this, I've done the math a bunch of times, is like just over 6, right? Just over 6 is what that's going to come out to. 6.09 something, just to be exact, right? So what you're gonna do with that number after you've taken the measured amount, you've divided 128 fluid ounces by that amount, that number that comes out, that 6 number, in that case for the flow zone, what that represents is like how many 15-second segments it takes for you to get 1 gallon of water, which is kind of useless, right? Because we don't really think in 15-second intervals. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that number that comes out of that division, multiply it by 15, and what's gonna pop out is seconds, the number of seconds, right? So in other words, we want the math to make it really simple. Take 128 times or divided by the measured amount, and then to multiply that number by 15. And that's gonna spit out the number of seconds it takes for your sprayer to put out 1 gallon of water. So that's thing one of like applying these products properly, right? So we got that figured out as far as how long it's gonna take. The second part that you need to do is figure out how long it takes you as a person to walk, 1,000 square feet and to put out 1 gallon of water over 1,000 square feet. So the way to do that, get some measuring tape, measure out a 20 by 50 section of your lawn. That's 1,000 square feet. and then just start walking it. And then when you get to the end of that 1,000 square feet, that measured out area, you look at your stopwatch and the time should be around or close to whatever you calculated it takes your particular sprayer to put out 1 gallon of water. Right? So just keep playing with that. And that is how I do it. I mean, there's other ways of calculating it, but that is what what I teach in the academy. Everyone else that has gone through that hasn't had any issues with understanding what I'm talking about. But I've gotten so many questions lately around, hey, I don't have a flow zone. I don't have a Chapin. How do I figure this out? Run your sprayer for 15 seconds, divide 128 by how much water is measured in that 15-second time, divide 128 by that, and then multiply by 15. You'll get the number of seconds it takes for your sprayer to put out 1 gallon of water. So hopefully that helps. Went a little fast in the course. It's explained out in a little bit more detail, but a little bit easier. But in a nutshell, that is like one small section of the lesson on backpack sprayer tips. So I just want to share that with someone because I've gotten like a ton of questions literally or lately on people, especially putting down the turf plex on like, hey, how do I make sure I'm not putting it down too heavy? And I'm like, okay, tonight I'm going to just take a small segment of time and I'm going to explain it. And there you go. So now it's been recorded. All right. Well, there you go, Cedric. Thank you so much for the question and for giving me the opportunity to pontificate about like how to calibrate a backpack sprayer as Ron Henry does it. Again, there's other methods, but that's the one that works well for me. Okay, Isaac, Mom, so I can say your last name, sir. I apologize, but I'm going to butcher this up. Mom Paraus, I think. He says, finally, about to get on the live stream, getting a break in the rain. Gonna go put some spoon feeding down. Very, very nice, Isaac. That's always good, always cool. Like to hear it. JG's in the house. What's going on, JG? Thanks for coming and hanging out. LG's partner in crime. I appreciate you. Always good stuff. And then we have Andy. Andy, I think last week had a question about herbicide. He says, good evening, Ron. Andy is on a Harley. That is not a Honda, people. I last week incorrectly called that a Honda, and there's a lot of hate in the comments. It was not good. So it's a Harley that he's on. So he says, thanks for the Spectracide weed stop tip last week. I had a nice low 80s day here in Catala, just north of Columbus. And haven't had any browning in my Bermuda so far. Thanks again. You're very, very welcome, sir. And that's the thing with weed stop, man, is if you put it down at, like, this is true for most herbicides, but especially the Home Depot, like the consumer grade blends, like they're designed to be really safe. Because I almost think that the manufacturer just assumes that people are going to put it down heavy. But if you follow the label, you should have gotten a good result. You shouldn't have seen too much yellowing, if any at all. And the thing is, if you find that it knocks the weeds back and you're not still you don't have them where you want them to be, a couple of weeks, do a follow-up application, and that'll take care of it. But I'm glad that you got that done and that you are having good results. Oh, on the note of herbicides, so last week we had a question, or we were talking about getting rid of St. Augustine in Zoysia, and we were talking about a herbicide called Fusilade. I reached out to my contacts at Syngenta, and I asked them about it, and I said, hey, listen, this thing will supposedly on the label says that it'll do crabgrass. Are you sure that it won't kill St. Augustine? And they said, yeah, it'll damage it. Like it will knock it back. It'll definitely damage the St. Augustine, but it doesn't control it to the point that it does Bermuda, to where they were going to put it on the label that it is, it's labeled for controlling St. Augustine. So S. Bender, if you're in the live stream tonight, or if you watch this later on, that is a good strategy. You can use Fusilade 2 on your Zoysia at least to harm or knock back the St. Augustine. It's probably not going to kill it, but that is the reason why it's not specifically spelled out on the label. I actually asked them, they came back to me and told me what the whole deal was, and there you go. There you go. I said I would get the answer for you, and I think that's it. I did. Very, very cool. All right, so let's see what other questions we got here. LG's like, that color though? Yeah, I know, right? Color is insane, man. I mean, the color where it's really bad, LG, is the vanity strip. I mean, look at that. I'm about to ask you, Daryl, is that fake? It looks like AstroTurf, man. The color is insane, man. It looks awesome. Really, really, really good. It looks better than my lawn does right now. I'm not sure what height of cut you're rolling at, but it doesn't matter. It looks good, man. When you're good, you're good. When you're good, you are good. Timothy Smith's in the house. What's going on, Timothy? Thanks for coming to hang out. And we're going to see what else, what other questions we got here. We got Joanne Lampron. He says, look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. My favorite moderator. What's going on, Joanne? Yeah, so Joanne is one of my good friends. Her and her husband, he does martial arts, and that's how we know each other. And they're going to be coming over to come hang out and have some fun, grilling and messing around on the lawn, and just having a good time over the 4th of July weekend. So I'm glad you guys are doing well, and look forward to hanging out with you guys tomorrow. Should be a good time. Hopefully you guys will not, the lawn will be in good enough shape that you guys will approve of it. We'll sign off on it. I did my best. All right. I did my best. All right. So we got Michael here. Says, good evening. Hey, Ron. Good evening. Good evening, sir. How's it going? Very good to see you here in the live stream as always. And then Moro has a question about, I think, fungicide. He says, Ron, with all this rain we've had here in Georgia, I noticed a quarter-size lawn web this morning. Should we panic and drop some fungicide, or just leave it alone and monitor it? Leave it alone and monitor it. I would not drop fungicide on little cobwebs that you're seeing in the lawn in the morning. I don't have them nearly as much this year as I did last year, because this year I actually been doing I put down more fungicide on my lawn this year than in years past, due to like the the large patch outbreak that I had earlier. I wouldn't necessarily call it an outbreak, but the large patch issue I was dealing with earlier in the season. But no, I wouldn't worry about it. What you're going to find is that you'll probably see them early in the morning, and then by 9-10 o'clock, as soon as a little bit of heat gets here, they're going to go away. I wouldn't do that, Moro. As long as you are, you've got a good program going on, you're mowing properly, you're mowing with a sharp blade, a sharp mower, and you are also, keeping enough nitrogen in the lawn, not too much, but just, you're feeding the lawn properly. You shouldn't have an issue with any kind of fungus problems taking root from that. So I wouldn't do that. And it's funny, guys, on the topic of also mowing, like Alex got his mower back, and his lawn looks phenomenal. I'll have to do like a YouTube story tomorrow morning. You guys can see what it looks like. Color looks great. Just from like 1 week of going from like a dull mower to a sharp mower makes a huge difference in the quality of how the lawn looks. The color, everything about it just looks a lot better. So for any of you guys that are like maybe struggling this season, wondering about, hey, my lawn isn't looking as good as it could look, what's going on with it? Also make sure that you got a sharp mower, make your equipment sharp. That's really, really important. It's an important aspect of getting a really, really good result. Okay, Daryl, he says, hey guys, thanks. I really appreciate Ron for being there for me. And when I needed help, he's an awesome dude. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, Daryl, he was unsolicited. Like every week he'd send me pictures of saying, hey, this was going on, and I think I messed up. I remember the email he sent me saying, hey, Ron, I think I put down PGR way too heavy. I'm like, yeah, definitely too heavy. He's like 4 times the rate, man. But he stuck with it, and he bounced back, right? It's not where you start, it's how you finish, right? So very, very cool, Darrow. Great work. Michael is saying that my backyard is a pond here in OKC due to all the rain, hoping to get it back soon. And here's the thing, man. It's either feast or famine, Michael. So enjoy it while you have it, because as soon as it stops raining, it's gonna, it might turn to a drought, and then you're gonna be begging for rain. Ruben is saying your lawn tips really helping my lawn. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Ruben. I'm glad to hear that. Glad that you guys are having a great results with the products and with the program. Okay, so we got a question here about nutsedge. So T Johnson's in the house. He says, Ron, see how he opened up really serious. He didn't say, hey Ron, how's it going? He says, Ron, the nutsedge is all over my yard. The more I kill, the more it comes. Any advice? Currently using Sedgehammer. So I would take a 2-pronged approach, T. Johnson. Keep using Sedgehammer, but if you can also use Image as well, so like Image and Sedgehammer, those two as a combination work really well. Certainty as well does well against nutsedge. It's a little bit stronger herbicides. If you wanna take it up a notch, if you don't like the results you get with Sedgehammer, you can go with Certainty. That if memory serves me, that will kill nutsedge and a bunch of Kalinga and like some of the really harder to kill weeds. So you can give that a shot. But if you want to give another round of Sedgehammer with Image you can get at Home Depot. Get you some Image and do those two. That should work well. I've had a couple of viewers that have used that combination of Sedgehammer and Image and have gotten really, really good results. I have seen it where they've only done one or the other, where they kind of fall away and they come back. But if you're using both together, tends to work pretty well. And also, I guess the question I also have for you is it only happening in areas of the lawn where there's a lot of rain or moisture settling? Because remember, nutsedge tends to, at least on my lawn, the places where it forms are really only 2 spots, like in the swale area between Alex and myself, and then another area here on the right side of the lawn. I'll have a small little channel. You guys can't really see it when you look at the lawn, but there's a small channel, a small depression there that where the lawn drains, and in there a little bit of nutsedge will grow. So I would also look at your lawn, make sure that you don't have any kind of issues with water settling, because that is definitely going to do a lot to promote nutsedge being a constant problem. If that's not the case, then go with what I was suggesting as far as Sedgehammer and image is a combination. If you want to go hardcore, get you some certainty, and that will that should definitely knock it back as well. But Sledgehammer honestly should do a great job. It's a great job too. Great question. Sorry you're dealing with it, but it can definitely get better. It will get better. All right, Michael Marshall says, "Hey, what's going on?" Saying it's up from Dallas, Georgia. It's very cool, man. Dallas, Georgia. Yeah, that's not. It's a little bit further north of Ackworth. I used to go out to Ackworth. It's probably 15 years ago at this point when I used to be really into model helicopters. I used to fly RC helicopters, and there's a big park out there in Ackworth that's just, I think it's just south of Dallas. So yeah, very cool, man. Nice to see you hanging out. Another person from Georgia hanging out in the live stream. Always fun. Kevin is in the house. Kevin Sheehan. He says, Ron, I put down Southern AG iron the other day. How long does it normally take to see a noticeable difference in color? I've never used Southern AG iron to know for sure, but assuming your lawn, here's the thing, Kevin, two things you gotta keep in mind. Assuming your soil doesn't already have plenty of iron, right? So assuming your grass is already getting plenty of iron, what I find is it takes a few days is typically, right? I'm not sure, is Southern AG a granular or a liquid? I'm not sure what that is. I can look it up here on Do My Own. I think they have it. But for liquids, if you're going to see a response, it's going to be, yes, it's a liquid, looks like. Yeah, so if you're going to see a response, it's going to be within a couple of days. So, you can spray it, let's say Thursday. By tomorrow you should really start seeing a response, like a deeper color in the lawn. And if you're not seeing that, I mean, assuming you applied it at the correct rate, if you're assuming you applied at the right rate and you applied it as, per the label, I mean, maybe your lawn just already has enough iron. I mean, it's rare to not see a response from an iron application to the lawn. So I might just give it a little bit longer. You said the other day, so I'm not sure how long the other day is. I know with Nutrizolve and Turfplex, when I put those down, literally it's 2 days later. So if I do it Thursday, tomorrow I'm gonna see a difference in color. So Southern AG, I've never used that one to know, but it's a chelated iron product, so it should respond well, man. You should get a good result out of it. Give it a couple more days, man, to see. I mean, we'll look tomorrow and see if tomorrow the lawn doesn't look a little bit greener than it did the day you put it down. But yeah, I've never used that product for sure to be able to tell you what to expect with it. Okay, Daryl says, you're awesome. The drag was off a bear cart from a bear rake from a grocery store. Last minute thing. Thanks for everything, sir. Okay, okay, cool. Yeah, so it worked, man. It looks like it did a good job. You put the logs on there and that weighed it down and it did the trick. Whatever it takes to rake that material in. The end result looks awesome. So I can't question your methods. The end result looks really, really good. Very cool. Okay, JC is having an issue in his lawn with POA. He says, "Hey Ron, thinking of smoking off my backyard. I guess it's fescue. He says to do POA, but my yard is covered with abrevieties. Will any Roundup harm them? And when should I smoke off the lawn?" That's a good question, and I am not sure of the answer to that. So let me get this straight. You have fescue. And you want to do POA, like you want to plant POA, because in the South we don't want POA in our lawns, but I guess you're somewhere up north, I guess, where that's a thing. If you're going to do that, JC, I don't know the answer about Roundup harming the abrevieties. I don't even know what those are. I'm gonna have to Google it after the show and find out what that is. I can't answer that question. I don't know that. But if what you're dealing with is cool season grass, which sounds like your yard is currently cool season and you want to replace it with a cool season grass, I would wait till the fall for that. So like as far as like any major things it's going to involve, like starting a new cool season lawn or top dressing or anything like that, like right now is probably not the best time to do it. I mean, you could probably kill the fescue now, but then you're going to have like a dead lawn, right? I would wait until a little bit later in the season, late August, early September, to take on this project, because that's going to be a good time to get rid of the fescue, and then you're going to be able to replace it with whatever grass type you want to go with, because that's the ideal go time. That's like the second growing season for cool season grass, right? I wouldn't do that now. I don't think you're going to get a great result doing it this time of year. And I don't know the answer as far as Roundup on the for what you're talking about there. But I'll look into it and I will get you an answer. Thank you so much. All right, so we got a super chat here in the house. Let me go down and grab that from Sean Heath. Here we go.
Super chat received.
He says, thanks for applying on your other videos. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, no worries, man. I always say, you guys have tons of options when it comes to content on YouTube. Like literally hundreds of hours of content are uploaded to YouTube every minute. So if you choose to watch some of my content, and then what's more, you even choose to comment on a video, while I can still do it, the channel is growing, but while I still have the time to do it, I'm going to answer your question as much as I can, because that's what I would want. If I asked, took some time to watch somebody's video and I needed some clarification or something like that. Yeah. And plus it's a great way to interact with you guys. It's a good way to find out what's going on with you, like what challenges you're dealing with. Gives me ideas for content. So yeah, I'm glad that you watch the videos and that you get some value out of it. So I appreciate that so much. Okay, so Rayon Moore is asking a question. He says, Ron, what are your views on liquid aeration? Oh man, let me get my thing out here, because this is another one I'm gonna get in trouble for. It's a tough question. He says, I bought a liquid product on Amazon that should loosen up the soil. The online reviews on the product were impressive. Okay. I think that liquid aeration, again, this is my opinion. You listen to other YouTubers, you'll see different views on it. My view on the matter. I think liquid aeration is something that works well in concert with like hollow tine aeration or in other things you're doing in your lawn. It definitely can't hurt, right? Because I think the idea behind it is that you'll apply it to your lawn. It's going to help stimulate microbial activity. It's going to help break down thatch. It's going to help loosen up compacted soil. And I've never tested it in that capacity, and the research that I've done on it, I don't see how it could make as big of a difference as, say, hollow tine aeration. There's no way it's going to do as well as that, right? So does it work? Yes. Is there value to it as far as like increasing microbial activity in your lawn, reducing thatch, and just overall just improving the biology of the soil? Yes, absolutely. No doubt about that. There's absolutely tons of truth to that. Is it the best way to relieve compaction in a lawn? In my opinion, no. But if you're not going to aerate your lawn, because not everybody's going to do that, because just getting an aerator is kind of a commitment, right? You got to figure out a way to go get one. You got to rent it. You got to get it home. You have to deal with like riding the bull around the lawn for however long it takes, getting beat up. So not everybody's going to do that. So if you're not going to do that, it's better than doing nothing. But I would not. But given the choice, right? Given the choice between like liquid aeration or hollow tine aeration, my answer would be yes. Like do both of them. Like aerate the lawn with a hollow tine aerator, and then also apply a liquid aeration product. That is what I would do. As far as the online reviews on Amazon, I don't know which product you're talking about. There's tons of products. There's tons of products out there that claim to promise miracles in this particular space. Again, I have not tested them in that capacity, but I'll give you a good example, right? If these products were superior to hollow tine aerating, or to just physical aeration, like golf courses would be doing it, right? Sports turf fields would be doing it all the time, and they probably do use some of these products, but they still aerate the lawn. They also, they do a combination of solid and hollow tine aerating, because it's just a great way to relieve compaction. Think about it. You're literally removing voids. You're creating voids in the soil, so it gives that really tightly packed soil somewhere to go. It kind of like relieves the compaction a little bit. So, I would use it. If you've already got it, go for it, use it. And if you can also sneak in an aeration this time of year, get that done too, and overall you're going to get a great result. So yeah, I mean, I think they do work. I think that they are maybe oversold a little bit more than they should be, but people use them, have great results with them. So hopefully that helps, and hopefully I think most people that have experience in that space would probably agree with me. But yeah, give them a shot, and you should get good results with it. Okay, Robert has a question about top dressing mix. He says, have you heard of Big Yellow Bag expanding the delivery area outside of the current area? That I don't know. I don't have like, as far as like a beat on what Supersod is going to be doing as far as expanding their delivery. I believe they deliver to Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, if memory serves me. I think those three states are the states that they serve. And if you're not in any of those places, then it could be a challenge. It can be a challenge to get it. It's great stuff. I gotta tell you, it is really, really good top dressing mix. As far as like stuff, like some of the cleanest material I've ever used, like practically no trash in it, and produce a really good result with the lawn. It's really good stuff. It's expensive. It's expensive. It's a lot more expensive than just a 70-30 mix from like your local, wherever places you got nearby that can get the stuff. But it is like anything else, right? It costs more, and this is one of the cases where something costs more and it actually is is a it is a good product. It is a superior product to what most people will use on their lawns. But as far as to answer your question, no, I haven't heard anything about them expanding their zone anywhere. All right, so I got to go down and get some super chats. You guys are on super chat mania here. I appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Helps you pay for the Turfplex that I got to give away here tonight. So Robert Wallace is first. He says, thank you, Ron, for all your advice and lawn care knowledge. You're very, very welcome, sir. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that. I really appreciate it. And then Kevin Sheehan is in the house. Kevin posing on his bike. Is it a Harley, Kevin? I'm gonna just go with Harley. Even if it's a Honda, I think it's a Harley is what you got there, because I think if I won't get in trouble if I call a Honda a Harley, but if I call a Harley a Honda, it's like I've created like the cardinal sin. So it looks like a Harley. But anyway, he says, thanks for response on the iron and Southern AG. I am spoon feeding with it and triplex with Turfplex per your method. Very cool, sir. Very, very good. You should get a good result with it. And then finally, our next super chat is from Mr. Robert Rainey. He says, thanks again, Ron. The time and patience you take with all the questions that come your way. Respect the enthusiasm you bring. It's true, man. I really enjoy it, man. You guys got to realize I truly enjoy messing with my lawn. I enjoy cutting grass. And kind of like anything else that I get into, I am in many ways a teacher at heart. So again, outside of lawn care, prior to like doing this, I mean, I teach martial arts. When I was in a former life, I taught like exploit development. So it's something I've always done as far as, both in my professional life and just things that I also enjoy doing on the side. So yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy helping people reach their goals. So it's about grass, but it's also about just doing things that are hard to get an awesome result. Doing things that most people will not do. Right? That's what it's all about. Very cool, Robert. I really appreciate that. And if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far, I know we're only an hour in. I know, guys. I know, and it's selfish of me to ask, but if you guys could touch that like button ever so gently while I take a sip of my lemonade, I'd really appreciate it. It's free for you guys to do. It's a great way to support the channel, and it's going to send more people here so we can have more people hanging out in the live stream with us. So this always makes for even a better time, right? All right. So we have a question from Mo D. It says, hey, Ron, somehow the blade of my manual reel mower is hitting the body of the mower. Is that fixable? I don't know how I did that. I got some ideas around how you possibly did it, because I've done it. So you probably hit something hard, either a piece of concrete or something, a hard stick, something that may have either put like a burr in one of the reel blades. So you can check it, Mo D, roll it around, and if you can see if it's catching on one blade, you can see if it's. I don't have it here where I can actually show you. I don't have a file to show you it, but if it's catching on one blade, you can perhaps get a metal file and just take just the burr off. Don't go across the entire reel, but just take the one little burr off that's causing it to catch. Hopefully that's what it is. In more extreme cases, what you could have done is you could have like tweaked the reel, right? Which that one is harder to fix because like the reel is now out of round and a lot more. That's a lot more difficult to fix. I'm not sure how you would actually fix that one with a manual reel mower. With a powered reel mower, depending on if something is not too bad, you could take it in somewhere and have it ground. Or in my case, if you happen to break the weld on it when you hit concrete, you replace the entire reel. But it should be fixable. Figure out how it's happening, like what kind of an issue you're dealing with. I don't have a reel here, but like if this is the bed knife, right? And the reel is coming down over, this is the bed knife. And the reel is coming down because the reel turns this way. It's coming down, it hits. If it's just catching with a little burr, we can normally fix that with a file. If you're turning and it's kind of going clunk, like, it's biting out, like it's like the reel is tweaked towards like bent. With a manual reel mower, you're probably going to honestly just be off just buying a new mower than trying to fix that, because I don't know anyone you could take it to that could like tweak it and get it back and then grind it to get it to, to where it's going to cut properly again. But what you probably are dealing with is probably just a burr. You probably haven't bent it that badly. Check to look for a burr, like I was saying, like a small little nick that's sticking down. Get a metal file and just take that off, and then you should be good to go again. Sorry you're dealing with that. But yeah, it happens. Trust me, I know. Hitting hard things with reel mowers is is a bad thing. That's why I always say, people always ask me, how long can your mower, like if I sharpen my mower and I'm really disciplined about it, I cut a couple times a week, how long can a grind last? It can last for most of a mowing season in most cases, as long as you only cut grass with it. If you start cutting sticks or twigs or anything like that, it's going to get dull a lot faster. So hopefully that helps. If not, just drop a answer down below or a follow-up question down below, and I'll do my best to help you out. Okay, John is in the house. I think John hails from Louisiana. John, it's good to see you again, sir. It's been a while. He says, besides Caravan G, what other granular would you recommend? My local site one is completely sold out. Okay, so it depends on what your problem you're trying to solve, John. So Caravan G is a really nice product in the sense that it's a combination. You got your insecticide and fungicide all in one, and it's priced nicely. But if you're looking to replicate that, so you're looking to replicate what Caravan G does, even on like a higher level because of a combination of like two better products. What you can do is at your local site one, see if they have acelepryn, which is an insecticide. You're going to use that for like annual bluegrass weevils, bill bugs, grubs, like those. It's going to take care of those. And then for the fungicide aspect of it, you can either go with one or two options. You can go with a product called Heritage G, which is a little bit older product, which that's one is only azoxystrobin, I think if memory serves me correctly. And then there's also another fungicide called Headway G. Headway G has two active ingredients. It has propiconazole and azoxystrobin. And that's like, as far as like granular fungicides go, that's like the Cadillac of granular fungicides. That's the Mac Daddy, So if you can't get Caravan G, you can get acelepryn, and then you don't need both of them, either Headway G and Heritage G, either one of those. One of those two combined with acelepryn will basically you're creating your own Caravan G that is actually better, right? It's going to do better overall. It's going to be more expensive, but it will work. And if you're looking for if you can't get it at Site One, I'll put a link here for acelepryn into the chat here for you, and then so you can grab that if you decide you want to do that. Let me see at John Gotch, and so there's a acelepryn. Actually, there is not a acelepryn. This is a acelepryn, and then I'll give you one for the other two fungicides. So you can choose. Site One should have both of those. They should carry both Headway G and Heritage G. They should have both of them. And you can just get it there. I mean, again, I make nothing off of it if you decide to go to Site One, but I get that you may want something that's a little bit more convenient. You have to order it and all this kind of stuff. But there are also some links there in the chat should you decide you want to go that route too. But yeah, you can absolutely create it yourself. And acelepryn is a really, really good insecticide. So you got options. Okay, Fred Rosales says, "Hey Ron, how about some advice on overseeding Bermuda in the winter?" Fred, you asked this in the post that I do, and I always get ready for the live stream. You asked this question. I said I wanted to wait and see if he comes in and asks the question so I can give you a full answer, because I didn't want to have to write a full paragraph in the comment section on YouTube. So anyway, advice on overseeding Bermuda in the winter. For me, okay, let me give you advice, and then I'll tell you what my feelings on the matter. So let me just answer your question first. So as far as overseeding Bermuda in the winter, if you go the perennial rye, you're going to want to do that in like September, October. That's going to be the time for you to put that down, to seed that. That's going to allow you to have a green lawn throughout into the fall, into the winter, depending on where you are. Well, you're in maybe Boston, maybe not all winter, but then early spring is going to be green. But then when it comes to overseeding with perennial rye, here's the thing, and this is partly why I'm not a fan of doing it. Once you get to springtime, the way you will get a terrible result by doing this is if you don't spray it out. So when the months of like March, April roll around, probably more like April, late March, early April, you're going to have to use a selective herbicide to spray out all the rye to get rid of it, to kill it off. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to have the Bermuda trying to come out of dormancy, and you're going to have the rye that, while it's not loving life, is still going to do just fine. Like I've got rye grass growing in a pot right now in the backyard, in a small little planter, and it's like really hot weather out here in Georgia, and it's still doing well. I mean, doesn't look great, but it's still growing. So the thing to keep in mind, if you are going to overseed Bermuda with rye, what you are getting is a greener lawn throughout the colder months of the year. So fall, winter, early spring, lawn's gonna look green. It's gonna be awesome. You get to be out there and mow it, assuming you want to be out mowing when it's cold. You get that. The negative is that you're gonna have to spray a herbicide, or you shouldn't say you have to, but you should spray a herbicide to get rid of it. And the negative to that, why I am particularly not a fan, is you're gonna be spraying a selective herbicide on your Bermuda lawn while it's transitioning. So even though it's not gonna necessarily kill the Bermuda, it can stress it. It can, just cause it to delay the green up a little bit. So there's no free lunch. But if you're gonna do it, just plan that in the spring of next year, spring of 2022, that you are going to spray out the rye. If you don't do that, you're not gonna like the results. There's actually a lawn in the neighborhood where the person they had a Bermuda lawn, they overseed with rye, and then into May. So I walk around the neighborhood right now, just kind of see, I like to inspect the grasses and see how the lawns are doing. Just see how people's lawns are coming along. And his lawn does not, even now, does not look good. Compared to the other lawns that don't even get any kind of care, the Bermuda just looks like it's struggling, because you got two grasses in there. You got two plants that are competing for the same resources. So just something to keep in mind. That's the only thing, and I'm glad you came in the live stream so I could answer it this way for you. That strategy can work. People do it. Just know you got to spray it out in March, April, if you want to have, if you want to give the Bermuda a good chance to do well in the growing season. So I don't do it because I don't like to do that. I don't want to spray herbicides on my lawn in March and April, and I don't like mowing in cold weather. I don't like cold weather, so that's why I don't do it. But there's some tips that should help you get a good result, so you decide to go that route. Okay, Troy Ridley's in the house. He says, "Hey Ron, from Central Texas. Let me get it up here. So I'm cutting Bermuda I'm cutting the Bermuda when I can." And Nutsedge seems to want to prove who can grow the fastest. Image worked after 5 weeks and the Nutsedge returns. What to do? Okay, so kind of like the answer I gave earlier to the other gentleman. Let's step it up a bit. Let's go with Nutsedge, and let's go with Image again. Let's go another round of Image, and let's also get a herbicide called Sedgehammer. So if you've not heard of that, you can get a herbicide called Sedgehammer. It's very effective against Nutsedge. You can do those two in that combination. That will work well to knock it back. But the thing we have to keep in mind here too, Troy, is if you can keep up with your mowing, so you're mowing the Bermuda regularly, that's going to help the Bermuda to thicken up a little bit. That is going to help a little bit with the Nutsedge. Nutsedge is pretty tenacious, and that's going to grow anyway. But if you can keep the grass short, that's gonna make the Nutsedge less apparent. And then also, if you are having it grow in certain areas, make sure you're not dealing with an issue where there's a drainage problem. Because for me, at least in my case, Nutsedge tends to be a problem in parts of the lawn where water tends to settle, or a lot of water tends to run past it a lot. So if you have any issues where, with all the rain you guys have been getting in Texas here in the last couple of months, really, you guys have been getting a lot of rain. If there's any water settling, if there's anything we can do about that to try and improve the drainage, that will help with the Nutsedge not growing as aggressively. But outside of that, I'd say let's do Image again, and let's do Sedgehammer. Let's add that to it, and that should buy you a bit more time. And then also outside of that, man, just try and pick up your mowing. Try to start mowing more, because that's going to help the Bermuda become more. It's going to help it thicken up. Like, Bermuda just loves being mowed. The more you mow it, the better it's going to look. All grasses are that way, but especially Bermuda, if you can mow it, 1.5 inches or lower, it's going to do better if you're able to do that. Great question. We got a question now on PGR and shrubs. This is a great question. So Will Ward says, can you use PGR on shrubs? You absolutely can, Will. You absolutely can. T-Nex, I have used that on the shrubs, the few shrubs that I have left. And it does work well. Here's the thing. There is a rate for ornamentals. So make sure you take a look at the label and make sure you mix it per that. I've used it at the rate that I've used on my Bermuda lawn, and it's been just fine. At least for the ornamentals that I have, there's been no damage, no issues with that. And it does seriously suppress the growth of it. It's actually kind of cool to watch because the last time I did it, there was I did the big shrub that's out there. The one you guys always see me talk about anytime I'm showing the front lawn. And I go on a rant on how much I hate cleaning up shrubs. That big shrub, the one big shrub. I did PGR on it, and I missed a spot. And what was cool is you could see all around where the PGR had been taken up, how the leaves had gotten really, really dark green, super dark green, abnormally green for that shrub, and how they were also smaller. Overall, just everything was tightened up a little bit more. And one spot that I missed, you saw how the leaves were their normal size and just growing more. So it was really cool. I should have taken a picture of it. But yes, absolutely, PGR can work on shrubs. Read the label for T-Nex or whatever you happen to be using. And because if you're only going to be spraying it on shrubs, then mix it up at the ornamental rate that they specify, and do that. Yeah, but yeah, it works, and it works great. It works great. The regulation works just fine on shrubs. So yeah, absolutely would do that if you're like me and like mowing grass, but you don't like dealing with shrubs. So there you go. All right, Gabriel Harry's in the house. He says, "Sup, Ron? Sup, Gabriel?" He says, "Happy 4th to everyone. I just finished laying a pallet of Xeon Zoysia to repair some shoddy work by a local landscaper. Now time for a cold one and some lawn care talk." Yes, sir. You earned that one. You definitely earned that. A cold one and some lawn care talk. That's cool. Mm-hmm. Very, very, very nice. So yeah, you gotta give us the whole backstory, man. Like, what happened? Was the lawn being sodded, and then that the soil just didn't take there, or were you getting some other stuff done? And you had the lawn got torn up, so you had to replace it with some sod. It'd be interesting to find out the backstory on that. You got to give us the whole story, man, Gabriel. But glad you got it done, and glad you're having a cold one. It's a good weekend for it, right? All right, Justin Cummings, Justin Cummings from Trinidad. See, it's funny. You might actually be. I know some Cummings out of Trinidad. Some of my family is Cummings. He says, a continuous rainfall for the past 10 days here in Trinidad. Soil is very saturated. Would you mow still not to break the 1/3 rule, or just wait for the soil to dry up? Okay, so Justin, it depends on what kind. Here's the thing: if you're using a reel mower, I would mow. Like I would still do it. I mean, when you say it's very saturated. I mean, if it's a big muddy mess, I don't want to get up there and like create ruts in the lawn. But if you're saying that it's rained and then it stopped, and it's rained and it stopped, so you've got like a little dry spot, a dry patch where you can actually get out there and mow it. I'm a fan of doing that with a reel mower. Like this morning, it was raining like crazy, and then it stopped raining. So during lunchtime, during my lunch break, I ran out there and I just mowed the lawn. And the lawn was the turf was still a bit wet, a little bit damp, but there was no issues with like creating ruts or anything like that. If you guys look at my Instagram, you guys can see what the lawn looks like. The pictures, the video panning video I sent, that was literally after mowing the lawn. And it was somewhat wet. So I guess in many ways, without seeing it, Justin, it's hard to say. If you're telling me that it's been raining every single day for 10 days, like 10 days straight, like it's like just nonstop rain, then I might hold off on it. But if you're saying it's off and on, like rain how we're getting in Georgia, you can sneak a mow in, then go for it. What you'll find though, because especially with Trinidad, with the temperatures you guys get there, and it's warm pretty much year round. Even after it stops and you have to go out and do like a reset to bring the height of cut work where you want it, the lawn's not going to look bad for very long. So even if it grits, half an inch longer than it should be, once you reset it back down to the height of cut that you want, you're talking about maybe a week, maybe, of the lawn looking not that great. It'll green up and you'll be just fine. So, the answer is it depends. If it's just a soggy mess, don't do it. If it's just lightly damp or lightly wet, then yes. If you are using a reel mower, because reel mowers I tend to not have as much of an issue with damaging the lawn as like rotaries do, but I kind of leave it up to you. I'm giving you an answer, but I'm not really giving you an answer because I can't see the lawn to tell you for sure. But I can just tell you I have done that. I have mowed my lawn with it being wet, no issues whatsoever. There's no problem with doing it. I've done it. Alex has done it. There's no issue. And always good to hear from my people, from my island people, man, and Trinidadian people. So hopefully this weekend. I mean, I know you're not celebrating the 4th of July, but hopefully you can have some eat like a Dallas roti for me. You can think about me because I can't. It's hard to get that here. A good roti. All right, Jason Knight is up next. He has a question about his True Cut. He says, "Hey Ron, went to a local dealer and viewed a True Cut 25-inch. You went and viewed one, huh? That's how it starts. He says, but I'm concerned about the pressure on my thumb after a while on that clutch drive. Have you ran into an issue?" Okay, so on my lawn or my mower, I've got big hands. I mean, I'm 6'4", and my hands are fairly big. I've never really had, actually, that's not true. The first year when I first got my True Cut, for a while, like right in here would get sore because you're just not used to always like mowing and like using not the right hand, left hand, the left one to feather the throttle, because the right one engages the reel. That one you're gonna leave on all the time. But the left one, as far as like just kind of like slipping the clutch to move the mower. But you get used to it after a while. I do anyway, or I did. So I mean, after that first season, I've never felt any kind of pain or any kind of issue at all with my hands. I'm using the True Cut. it's hard to say. I've seen people do things like I've seen people put extensions on them to kind of extend the length of the handle. That's something you can try doing. But I can tell you that for me, after mowing with it for a while, it wasn't as much of an issue as what you're describing. So I also give it a shot because a True Cut is an excellent mower. It's a really good one. Granted, I say give it a shot because you can't really take it back after you go and buy it, right? But what you felt is not abnormal, but it does go away, or at least in my case, it does. And then same thing with Alex. He doesn't complain about it on his mower anymore. Chiming also has a True Cut. I know 3 people that I talk to pretty regularly that have True Cuts, and all of us had what you were talking about initially, but then it's not really an issue anymore as you start mowing more frequently. So hopefully that helps. The 25 is an awesome mower, and even though you haven't gotten it yet, we're still gonna clap it anyway because we're assuming you're probably gonna get one, and maybe that'll give you some motivation to go and grab that guy. All right, Robert Wallace says, happy 4th to you. Happy 4th, Robert. Really appreciate it. And we got a super chat or a super sticker down here. First from CR. I got to go back up there.
Super chat.
He says, you're amazing. He says, appear dancing under rain confetti and taking his hat off, saying, you're amazing. I appreciate it, CR. Thank you so much. And then coming back up here to Andy. He says,
Super chat.
He says, I want to make sure to support your channel to keep the great advice and content coming. My bike is definitely a Harley. It's an '09 Ultra Classic FLHTHCT. I'm sure that means something to motorcycle people, but I'm lame like that. I'm not up on my Harleys. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure that someone that's a Harley is going to know what that means. But yeah, that's very cool, sir. I'm glad I guessed right. I took the guess. I erred more on the safe side. And I appreciate the super chat and the support. Thank you so much. All right, kilting in the lawn. Okay, that's an interesting handle. Kilting in the lawn says, that is an interesting avatar picture. It says, hi, Ron. Since I installed a putting green with 30 inches deep of 80% sand and 20% peat moss, should I be worried about nematodes and add that to a prevention schedule? Kilting in the lawn, you are in a space that I have no direct experience, sir. I mean, you're talking about 30 inches, so almost 3 feet of sand and peat moss. I am not sure what that soil biology is going to be like at all. As far as what you would need to do. I mean, what you've done is more along the lines of what an actual, like a real professional golf green, like an actual course green would be like what you've constructed. So if you've got someone locally, like a golf superintendent locally that you can ask that question to, they might be able to answer that. I'll take that one. I'll take a screenshot of that question, and I will ask a couple of my buddies and see what they think, what advice they can give me. This would be a good talking point for next week. But I don't know the answer to that. It'd be cool to see the picture. This question is like, it's a great question, but I'd love to see what that green looks like. So that's it sounds like you have some serious dedication to create something like that. But sorry I don't have an answer for you, but I will work on getting one for you for next week. And very cool avatar picture. When you say you're kilting in the lawn, you really weren't kidding. You really are. Let's see here, nematodes on green. All right. Very nice. All right, so Jeremy White's in the house. He says, any jiu-jitsu guys invited over this weekend? Let me think. Yes. Actually, there's one jiu-jitsu guy. So one of the chief instructors at the studio that I train at is a jiu-jitsu brown belt. I think he's a brown belt. Yeah, he's a jiu-jitsu brown belt. Been training 10, 11 years already, something like that. So he's probably pretty close to getting his first dan in that. But yeah, he's coming over. It's always fun. We always have a good time. Every now and then I'll roll. We get to roll together, and I'll take him down. He always laughs at me. He says, "Oh, you're gonna take me down? You think you're a jiu-jitsu guy now, huh?" And then I see how long I can last. Sometimes I do better than others. But yeah, Jeremy, we are gonna have a jiu-jitsu guy this weekend. Mazama Blues in the house. He says, happy Friday and happy Independence Day, Ron. Thank you, sir. Happy Independence Day to you as well. And next question we got here is from Flip McNeil. He says, he's a question about height of cut, I believe. He says, the height of cut on my Bermuda is currently at 2 3/4 inches. I want to be at 1.5 inches or 1 1/4 inches. What's the best way to lower the height of cut without losing all the green color? Oh, sir, you ask a question that's... I mean, if you have a lot of time, you can take it down really, really slowly. But if you want to do it quickly, in other words, you want to be from 2 1/4 down to 1 1/4 quickly, you're gonna have to scalp it. Like you're just gonna have to do that, and it is gonna look like not very good for, I don't know, week and a half, 10 days, maybe 2 weeks tops. But it's gonna bounce back and it's gonna look phenomenal after that. So there's not really a short term way to go from 2 and 3/4 inches down to 1.25 to 1.5 inches, and not lose any green, because you said, like you're saying here, right? The blades are more green on top and brown on the bottom. So yeah, exactly what you're seeing is exactly what happens with Bermuda and most grass types. Like when they grow, typically the last third, sometimes a little bit more than that, but normally the last third is what's green. So really, you don't want to take off any more than a third, to keep it green between mowings. Now you're trying to do a lot more than a third, so it's going to turn brown. But if it were me, I would go for it. If it were me, I wouldn't do it now. Don't do it tomorrow because it's 4th of July weekend. You want your lawn to look nice, right? But after that, I would just go for it, man. What I would do first is I would pick the area of your lawn, find the part of your lawn where you think you're most likely to scalp. Because if you're mowing at these heights, you're probably mowing with a rotary. So find the parts of your lawn that are the most uneven and go down and try and set your mower to the lower height that you're targeting there. Because if it's going to scalp anywhere, it's going to scalp there. And that way you don't get around and like mow most of the lawn at a lower height, and then you get to this one spot and it scalps, and you're going to always have a scalp spot to deal with. You see what I'm saying? So try and figure out what the lowest or the bumpiest, the most uneven part of the lawn is first, and use that as like the gauge to set the height of cut for the rest of the lawn. Because that way, once you get down to that lower height, you go from like almost 3 inches down. Let's say you end up at 1.5 inches. The entire lawn will be green once it greens back up after the height of cut reset, after the scalping. You know what I mean? So that's the only tip I would give you. I'll flip Big Neil, and definitely bag your clippings. So if you're going to do a scalp like this, or going to take that kind of a height of cut change, don't blast those clippings all over the lawn. Definitely take that stuff out, and then you can start going back to mulching once you get the lawn down to the height that you end up at. Great question. It'd be nice, but no, unfortunately, you can't. That's not going to be not really doable. Hopefully, that's helpful though for you, sir. All right, Cedric is in the house. Always calls me mad scientist. Why? I do not know. I don't know why he calls me mad scientist. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's worse than other things I get called, right? He says, Site 1 at Stone Mountain Industrial has Carbon Pro G, has 32 bags of Carbon Pro G left in their inventory. Turfs up, furt down, strike reaction forever. You're basically going to mean these people are going to get sold out like tomorrow. You know that, right? Like my local Site 1, I can't even get Carbon Pro G there anymore. Thanks, guys. Like I go there and it's always like, no, we don't have any. Not sure we're going to get some. And as soon as it shows up, it gets sold out. So, but it's good. It's good. You guys are getting, you get good results with it. So I'm always happy about that. I have Essential G that I can use. So, I'm glad that the Carbon Pro G is going to a good home and you guys are putting it to use. Good looking out, Cedric. But the 32 bags are probably not going to be there for too long. If anyone in the Atlanta area is watching this and trying to get their hands on it, because I know there's definitely been a lot more of a shortage on that product, which is good. It's good. Good for Site 1. Good for Site 1. Good for Miramichi Green. And good for all the lawns that it goes on. Because as you guys saw from Daryl's lawn, your lawn can look really nice with some of that Carbon Pro G and top dressing and everything else on there. It can make for a really, really nice lawn. All right, we got Grace Ortiz in the house. What's going on, Grace? Thanks for coming to hang out, as always. Very, very cool. We got another super chat down here I got to go down and get to from Jurassic Park, or Go E Free.
Super chat received.
Says, thanks for taking the time to look at the Greensmaster 18 at Jerry Pate. Picked one up on Wednesday. Nice, dude. So here's the thing. I hope you did that. I hope you also took my other advice, Jurassic Park. Is also while you have it, I know they had them more priced, however they had it priced, right? I think it was like $1,600 or something like that. I'm not sure if that included it having it serviced, but if it didn't, I would highly recommend that spend a couple $100 extra and have them go through it. Like if there's any belts that need to be replaced, if it needs to be sharpened, have them do it, because those guys are like the Toro guys for the Atlanta area. They supply mowers to anyone that's using Toro. In Georgia, even some of the biggest names, like whenever they get their Toro mowers, they pass through Jerry Pate, right? So yeah, as far as someone that's going to know what they're doing to really set the mower up nicely and get a good result with it, I would highly recommend that you do that, assuming you haven't already. And congrats, man! We got to clap it up, man! Congrats! Congrats on the new mower, man! I always like to hear people getting new hardware. Always fun. Use it and mow it in. Mow in good health, sir. Enjoy the new equipment. Very nice. Okay, Heartfelt Fashion has a question. He says, he or she says, I'm not sure, says, "Hey Ron, would you ever use urea, and if so, how?" Well, I use urea technically in all the fertilizers that I use. They have some kind of urea in them. If you're talking about like straight urea, I've not really used that because I've not the use case for it for me would be if I were trying to push growth really quickly, right? Like I was trying to get the grass to really grow in really quickly in an area. That's the case where I would use straight urea. For and other people, there are other people that also use it too, as in their spoon feeding programs. There are people that also use straight urea as well. That they like doing that. I don't use it mainly because one, I like the results I get with like Turfplex, and also as from a standpoint of having to water it in and just being really really careful. Like straight urea is great when you use it properly, you measure it properly, you apply it properly, and you water it after you're done putting it down. If you don't do those things, you go too heavy, you don't water it in enough, it's going to burn your grass. Like it works very very fast. Meaning as far as like a tool to correct problems in your lawn, it's awesome for that. But also like anything else that works really really fast, things can also go badly very fast with it if you're not careful. So with the people that I tend to see using straight urea to like in spoon feeding programs tend to be people that are a lot more experienced in home lawn care. That tends to be like their choice. They're just looking for something that's cheap and all they care about is the nitrogen. They don't care about like the other additives that are in Turfplex, like the C extra, like the kelp extract, the other micronutrients that are also in there. All they care about is nitrogen. People tend to use it for that, but in my case, I just go with just Turfplex. I mean, it get a really quick response, 2 to 3 days with that. And it just works in my spoon feeding program. And also, probably the biggest reason is I don't have to water it in, right? So part of why, and I know it may seem like, I put a lot of stuff on my lawn, but the everything, all the stuff that I use, there actually is a method behind it, right? So I don't want to have to always water things in after application. So that's why I went with liquids like the carbon kit, like the Miramichi Green Carbon Kit, the Release Zero, the NutriKelp, the BioSpectrum, and the Turfplex, kind of like PGR, don't need to be watered in. So I can apply those to my lawn with enough water, a gallon of water per 1,000 square feet, and I don't have to worry about watering it in. So using straight urea, you really can't, or you shouldn't do that. You really should water it in afterwards. So it just makes it, from my program and for the else I have to teach people, it also makes things more complicated because not everybody has irrigation to go water right after they spray their lawn. So that's another reason why I do it. From a teaching standpoint, it's just not as there's not as much margin for error with it. Is probably the best way to say that. So hopefully that helps answer your question. I know I went on a little bit there, but I want to give you as complete an answer as to the why. All right, I got to scroll down and get another super chat. We also have, there he is, the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Josh Habib.
Super chat received.
He says, "Happy Friday, doctors. Is currently on day 2 of 10-day camping trip with my wife. She dragged us on up to Pennsylvania." That's cool though, man. Come on. It's not bad. I mean, you go out camping, you and the fam, snuck away for the live stream and the mosquitoes followed me. Life is good. Hope you're doing well, bud. I am, sir. Thank you so much. I am using the cup which you so graciously provided, the official live stream cup, 1 of 1. I appreciate that, sir. And yeah, you're away for the family, having some fun over the 4th of July weekend. If there's any time to go get bitten by mosquitoes, it's this weekend, right? This is the time to do it. Thank you for coming to sneak away and hang out for a little bit. I really appreciate the support, and thank you for the super chat. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it, Josh. Okay, and thanks. So that's a good point, Mazama. While I take another sip of my lemonade here, anyone that is enjoying the live stream, if you guys are enjoying this, give me a like. It's free for you guys to do. Easy way to support the channel. Sends good vibes to YouTube and says send more people to the Ron Henry Lawn Care live stream because those guys are having a great time, and we need to be more people to be a part of that. So if you guys wouldn't mind touching that like button ever so gently, really appreciate it. Free for you guys to do, and allows me to take a sip of my lemonade. All right. All right, B Gaines is here. Says, "Good evening, everyone. Checking in with the group. Having a great success with my spoon feeding treatment. Thanks, Ron. Very good. I'm glad you're doing that, B Gaines." That's the thing about spoon feeding, right? It is more work. The negative to it is more work. You have to be out in the lawn more. But as far as like getting like a nice even color without crazy amounts of growth, tough to beat it, right? Really tough to beat it. So yeah, I'm glad you're getting good results with it. B Gaines, Daryl did it like hardcore and his lawn looks incredible for it. So yeah, I'm glad you're getting good results with the spoon feeding program. Kevin is saying Harley all the way. Got to be a Harley. Well, glad at least there's no Honda people in here tonight. That way we don't have like a motorcycle war, right? So that's good. All right, so Trin Dave Trojan Dave is here. He has a question about mowing. He says, did my first real mow today, sir. We got to clap that up. Got to do it. It's got to happen. He said he did his first mow today, set the height of cut to 1 inch. That's good. It's a good starter height. I like it. Just kind of easing into it. So it's got a good amount of nutsedge leaves and some Bermuda grass. I want to lower the height to 3/4 of an inch. Should I mow at this height of cut on Sunday or wait a few days? Here's the thing. I would get the lawn to the height of cut that you plan to maintain it for the rest of the season. I will tell you that 1 inch looks great. 3/4 of an inch looks even better than 1 inch. And 1 inch Trin Dave or Trojan Dave, for me, that is the ideal height of cut to not have real mowing mess up your life, to where you always have to be out there mowing like literally 3 times a week minimum to keep the lawn looking nice. So if you want to go to 3/4 of an inch, go for it. If you're sure also, here's the thing too, I didn't say this, but if you're sure that the lawn will handle that, there's not going to be any kind of issues as far as scalping or anything like that. Go from that. Go ahead and just do it, man. I mean, don't do it today because you want the lawn to probably look nice for the weekend. But the next time you mow, if you decide that 3/4 of an inch is where you want to be, go for it. Go and take the lawn down there. It's gonna look kind of bad when you first go from an inch to 3/4 of an inch. But just keep mowing it, and what you'll find is in a week, 10 days, it should start greening up nicely again, because right now is go time from Bermuda. We got so much heat, so much sunshine, it's going to do really well. Go for the height of cut that you are after, that you want to maintain the grass at. The one thing I'll tell you, at 3/4 of an inch, you are on mandatory. Here's the thing, before you do that, you're on mandatory twice a week mowing. So minimum twice a week mowing. That's the minimum now, once you go to 3/4 of an inch. Because what's going to happen is if you wait much longer than 3 to 4 days to mow, every time you mow, you're going to start getting into some of the stalk, and you're going to have like some brown on the lawn, when you mow it. So I would just realize going from an inch to 3/4 of an inch definitely looks a lot better, but now you're kind of getting to the point where got to mow a couple times a week, but which is not that big a deal. I mean, you're gonna like it. I mean, you're already drinking the Kool-Aid. You got your real mower. You're already looking to go down in the height of cut. You're already looking to go lower. So I think you're not gonna have a problem with it, man. Enjoy the mower, and I would not wait. I would go for it whenever the next time you mow. G Free is in the house. The winner of, what did you win? G Free, you won. I think you won the sticker. He was one of the stickers, one of the winners past weekend of one of the stickers of the giveaway last week. He was one of the last week's winners. So thanks for coming to hang out, sir. Glad you got the Stripe Action sticker. I appreciate you. Appreciate you coming in the live stream and supporting the content. And I'm glad that you won the sticker. And to guys, also for anyone that just recently joined, if you were not here at the beginning, we're going to be doing a giveaway tonight. We're going to be doing, or I should say this, we're going to be doing the start of a giveaway tonight. I'm going to tell you guys what you have to do to enter. So make sure you stick around for that, and then we'll do the drawing. The winner will be announced next week, but we'll go through it tonight. It's gonna be actually some nice stuff. One of them, I'll tell you what one of them is. For those of you guys that are already here, you already know. One of the things is gonna be a My Soil test kit. Awesome tool for getting the most out of your lawn. And the second is something we've already spoken about, and some of you guys know, but if you're new, you have to wait to see what it is, unless someone here ruins it and says anyway. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. Something that I think you guys will really like. Okay. Daryl Tunstall has a question. He says, Ron, when you spray your lawn, you never walk in the chemicals, never. Do you get a better result? Yeah, so that's a good point. So as far as does it negatively affect the result? I don't know that it really that it matters that much, Daryl, because it's not like I'm going to be taking a lot of whatever I'm spraying off the leaves by stepping on it. But what I tend to do is I spray from back to front. I'll start with the front lawn and I'll spray that, and then I'll work my way all the way around down the swale, and then I'll start and work from the patio all the way back to like where the rocks are. And then when I'm done, I will walk around the edge, like one of the edges to clean up the equipment and everything like that. And when I refill the sprayer, same thing. So I tend to try and not walk on what I just sprayed. For the carbon kit and for the like Turfplex and Nutrisolve combination, that doesn't really matter as much. It's just a habit I have when it comes to like spraying herbicides. Like I definitely don't like to walk over herbicides that I've just put down, just because I just don't want to walk on that stuff. I mean, even though I'm wearing like full rubber boots, it's not going to get on my skin or anything. I just like to stay out of it as much as I can. And that habit just kind of carries over in how I spray the other stuff on the lawn. But yeah, I've never really seen a negative from like stepping on an area that you just sprayed. So yeah, it doesn't really matter, but it's a good habit to get into. If there's a way for you to spray your lawn without tracking all over the area you just sprayed, then I think it's a good idea to go ahead and do that. All right. Michael R says, great content as always. Happy 4th of July. Thanks so much, Michael R. Appreciate you hanging out. Looks like you're on the beach or you're hanging out with Mrs. Michael R. So that's always fun. Very, very cool. And then Jay Stream says a question. He says, hey, what happened to reel rollers? I called nobody answered and came by and nobody was there. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know what happened to reel rollers. Maybe they're closed today for the 4th of July weekend. I'm not sure if there's something else going on but I haven't heard, what I know. I've not heard anything. I've not heard anything outside of what you're saying. If I had to guess, they probably just closed for the 4th of July weekend is what I think. Maybe if you called today anyway, if you called yesterday, I would think they'd still be there. But if you called today, I imagine they probably just knocked off early for 4th of July weekend, would be my guess. Cedric G is in the house. He says, Mad Scientist, I'm still in the market to purchase a Toro Greensmaster, definitely pre-owned. Jerry Pate is out right now. Yeah, just keep calling him, man. They're going to keep getting him. Keep bugging Joey. Guy's named Joey Largan. That's the man to talk to. Joey or Bruce down there at Jerry Pate. They get them in. Mowers come off of lease. From courses, and when they get those, they're mowers that tend to be maintained. They haven't been sitting out in the rain or anything like that. So just keep calling them, and you'll be able to pick one up eventually. Other options, you can go Facebook Marketplace. You can also go to Craigslist. I think Brett's Grasscapades. Brett also got his mower from an auction site. I think it's called a Weeks Auction. But those mowers tend to be a little bit rougher. Like those will tend to be sitting outside a little bit more. So if you want a piece of equipment that is going to be, I wouldn't say necessarily baby, but just that it's been recently used and has probably been looked after a little bit closer. Jerry Pate's a good option, or something you can find on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist where someone was actually using the mower. But in a pinch, you can also check out some of the auction sites and see what you can grab there. That's an option too. But just keep looking, man. You're Cedric, especially if you're in this area, you're in the you're in the Atlanta area. This is the land of Toro, man. Toro and True Cut. So just keep looking around, and you'll be able to pick one up. Jerry Pate's a good place to get one. I would just keep on your hunt. Don't give up. Keep the fight, man. Keep the faith. Keep going. You're gonna find one eventually. All right. Sean Heath is here. He says it's a question about leveling in Texas in the fine state of Texas. He says, I'm in Texas. It's 91 degrees, and I want to top dress my Tifway. What soil do you recommend to level? RN15 is on the way. Okay, so you're also going to do an overseed as well. Cool. So as far as for anyone that's going to do a top dressing, I am a huge fan of doing a 70-30 mix. You can do 100% river sand or masonry sand. Like we did that on Alex's lawn, got a great result with it. But what I would say, Sean, is part of your top dressing process, make sure you try as best you can to incorporate some organic material. So if you're going to top dress your lawn using the method that I like to use, you're going to aerate the lawn, and then you're going to put down some kind of an organic material. So you can use, you say you want to do just sand. Before that, I would put down something like a Carbon Pro G or Essential G. If I got it up here, yeah, I do. Something like this out of the Golf Course Lawn Store, something like Essential G, something that's very, very nutrient rich. It's got some biochar in it. It's got some compost in it. Just very, very good stuff to help feed the soil biology. That's a great option. And then make sure you do your fertilizer and then put down whatever leveling mix you want to use. What I would say is a 70-30 mix. If you can find that in your area, that is what I would go with. That's what I'd go with, because that checks both boxes. You get structure, and you're adding structure to the soil with the leveling, and you're also feeding like the soil biology. You're helping improve the soil because you're putting some like rich organic material into it as well. So 70-30 is always a good option. If you decide to go 100% river sand, that can work too. But given the choice, I would go 70-30 mix. And I'm not sure where in Texas you are, but you should be able to find someone nearby in Texas that, somewhere nearby you that carries a blend like that. And that is what I would do. That's what I'd go with. All right. So we have a friend from across the pond, man. We got people from the UK chiming in. It's got to be kind of late. He says, Robert Sheffer, he says, hello from the UK. Love your channel. I appreciate you, Robert. Thanks for watching all the way over on the other side. Thank you for coming to hang out with us, on our Independence Day. I guess for you guys, probably like Rebel Weekend or Ungrateful Rebel Weekend is how we're looked at by the Brits. But thanks for coming to hang out. He says, here maintaining a lawn from pests, weed grasses, and fungus is challenging due to the restrictions on pesticides and herbicides. Any advice? Thanks, Robert. Yeah. So I've actually followed some of the YouTubers that are over in the UK. let me see. There's a guy, Premier Lawn. He has like a business that does that. Premier Lawn, and there's another guy. I can see his face, but I can't. I don't remember his name. But if you watch a video from Premier Lawn, this guy's video, who's also in the UK, is probably also going to be suggested along with it. And what I find that what they tend to do in the UK compared to us here stateside is a lot more natural methods for keeping the lawn healthy. So those guys are always there. Anytime I watch their videos, like they're scarifying or dethatching the lawn very regularly. They're keeping up with their mowing, and then they're using a very balanced fertilizer in the lawn as well too. So, but the big thing that I think for helping, just keeping the grass healthy and keeping weeds under control and just keeping growing a healthy stand of grass that is really, in many ways, your best defense against weeds. Like, in other words, if you want to make it hard for weeds, grow like a really, really strong alpha plant that is going to outcompete the weeds for resources in most cases, right? Without being able to use pesticides or herbicides, I'm going to say that, like, I check out some of those guys' content. I'll tell you what they're going to do is a lot of like scarification. They mow their lawns a lot. And between scarification, regular dethatching, using a good fertilizer, and keeping up with their mowing, their lawns tend to look well too. They also tend to top dress that I see pretty often. So I mean, whereas we here stateside, top dressing for most people is like a once a season kind of thing. Those guys, granted, some of it could be just for YouTube, but those guys what I'm seeing, tend to do like a light topsoil top dress on their lawns fairly regularly, right? So just again, try and keep the soil healthy, and as a means of repairing any damage from like lawn fungus or areas you may have gotten, so you had to take a bunch of weeds out. Things that's been their methods for helping the grass to do well. So hopefully that helps. Check out Premier Lawns, and again, the other guy, I don't know his name, but he if you watch Premier Lawns video, like this other guy is going to be like suggested by YouTube in along with his content as well too. That's what I would say. But again, thank you so much, man, for coming to hang out and in the live stream over here from the UK. And congrats on Wimbledon, man. You guys, tell you what, the grass at Wimbledon this year, it looks incredible. I guess they said you guys had a ton of rain over in England this time of year, and it looks, now it's starting to get beat up, but like the round one, grass looked, the stripe action was on point. It's causing people to fall all over the place, but some good looking grass, man. I gotta hand it to that. The people that were working on that did a great job. Hopefully that helps answer your question. And if you have any help with anything else or need help with anything else, drop it down there below, and I will do my best. So thanks again from watching all the way from the UK. Isaac says, watch out for seed heads with that POA. Yeah, you think you're talking about the person that wants to get rid of their fescue and do POA. For me, that sounds, I get like the shakes even thinking about it, but it's definitely a strategy. I think there's some football stadium, I don't know which one it was. There was a football stadium that for the Super Bowl or for a Super Bowl, they actually put Poano down, because it was green. Right, it's green. I want to say it was in the South. It may have been, was it Tampa? Maybe. I forget which one it is. Well, if you guys know, you can tell me, but it is a strategy. There are people that actually plant Poano on purpose, and just use that as their grass. So yeah. All right. Mo D says, thanks for responding. It seems like just one of the blades is catching on the bottom of the mower. I don't have a file, but I do have a grinder. I might try and grind on that bottom part. Thanks. You can give it a shot. Okay, when you say catching, is it just a small part of a blade, or is it the entire blade? Because if it's the entire blade, then something is bent, because that shouldn't happen. Like if the entire blade is catching, you bent something, and that's going to be. You can try it with the grinder. It's not. At this point, it's not going to really hurt anything, right? Because if either you get it and it's better, or it's not, and you just have to buy a new manual reel mower. But if it's just, I would go very, very slowly. Take off a little bit of a time, because kind of like with fertilizer, you can always put more down. You can't take it out once you put it down. So kind of like when it comes to grinding, especially something like a reel mower, go very light. Like make one pass and check it, make another pass, check it. Go really light and just check each time and see if that's the way to correct it. Don't go super heavy, because once you take it off, you can't really put it back. But thanks for letting us know, Mo D. Sorry you're dealing with that. I feel your pain. Believe me, I feel your pain. I've been there. It's one of the worst sounds I've ever heard. Is the sound that my mower made when I hit concrete with it. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Raul Gutierrez says a transition ride to Bermuda. Simply reduce the water and mow low for several weeks. The hybrid look is not terrible. The transition takes practice. I guess it depends, man. For me, it doesn't look very good, but I get what you're saying. You're right. If you start mowing the Bermuda lower, the ryegrass isn't going to like that as much. But you're just kind of extending this hybrid, this blend, this mutt lawn look because rye and Bermuda look really different. They look very very different in a lawn. It's very apparent when the two grasses are there. But yeah, I mean that's an option too. I've just not personally seen that done, Raul, where people have done that and gotten a good result. But I totally get what you're saying. I mean, what you're suggesting absolutely should work. If you pull back the water on the rye, so you're kind of starving it for water, and then you start cutting it shorter. It could help, but most people, I think, I guess if you're just looking to get the cleanest break, like you're trying to get rid of the rye and really move into the Bermuda, is to just to burn it out, like just spray it out and then move on. But thanks for chiming in. It's a great viewpoint. Thanks for sharing it. Thanks so much. Okay, and then Fred says thanks to Ron and Raul, and yep, appreciate it. Yeah, always good, always nice to have some of the viewers chime in and share their viewpoints. I gotta get down here for another super chat from Cedric. Thank you so much, sir.
Super chat received.
He says, "I call you mad scientist because of how you strategically mix and combine chemicals." Yeah, that's from a lot of trial and error though. Man. That's a lot of testing. The whole thing behind the stuff that I recommend is I wanted to make sure that it was easy. It's easy and it's really hard for anybody to mess up. So like even though the rates that I give you guys for like Turfplex and for the carbon kit, like I've measured them, I've mixed them at much heavier rates. Like I've done Turfplex at like, I think there's a 12 ounce rate. There's a 7.5, I think there's almost a 12 ounce rate, 12, 15 ounce rate. There's a super heavy rate. It's like a crazy heavy rate that I think would almost burn your lawn. But I've mixed at that heavy rate. I've also done along with the carbon kit at a heavy rate, which I think the label calls for 2 to 6 ounces. And I've gone as far as 6 ounces with each one of those products. Mix them, and I want to say, you know what? I want to see where it falls apart. I want to see if I have any problems spraying it. I want to see if I have any problems with it clumping, anything like that, because I know how you guys are, man. I know how you guys are. I tell you guys, put down 2 ounces. You guys are going to do 2.5 or 3 ounces. So I want to make sure that even if you go a little bit heavy, you're not going to have a problem with like a negative interaction with the stuff that I'm recommending. So that's a big part of why I recommend the stuff that I do, because I've tested them a lot. And I know that you can get a good result with them, even when there is some adjustments between not a less than absolutely perfect mixture, which you can't always say that for some other products, but with the suite that we've got put together here, I'm really happy with it. Okay, let's see. And Grace Ortiz says, yep, Pete from GCI Turf did not spray out the ryegrass and his Bermuda looks like it has a fungus. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I don't know that not spraying out the rye caused it, but I tell you, not having the rye along with Bermuda is going to cause the Bermuda to be weaker. It is. It just is, right? Because you have two grasses that are competing for the same resources. So you really want to, if you're going to do this, which you can, I'm not saying don't do it. I mean, I kind of am saying don't do it, but I mean, if you are going to do it, like plan to get rid of it with herbicide, like spray it out in March, realize that, you know what, my Bermuda is now going to take a couple of weeks longer perhaps to green up fully. But once it greens up, it's only going to be Bermuda. It's going to be nice and healthy. You just avoid a lot of issues, because if you're trying to keep both of them around, what you're eventually going to run into is that if you have to end up spraying a herbicide on the Bermuda, like there's very few herbicides that I can think of that are safe for Bermuda that will not damage ryegrass in some way, right? I mean, I think Spectracide might be an exception, but in most cases, it's either one or another. You either have like a cool season herbicide or a warm season herbicide, right? So for that reason, in addition to just like potential fungus problems, just issues with the lawn looking splotchy, because what you're going to find is if you don't spray out rye in a Bermuda lawn, it's not like the rye is going to all slowly die off all very consistently all across the lawn. What you're going to find is kind of like what I see in my planter is that there's going to be some spots that are very the rye is like hulking out and still growing strong, and there's going to be some spots that are thinner. And it's just going to look weird. It's going to look really, really weird. So it's just, if you like that look, that's fine. I mean, again, everybody has different looks. Like I like the way my lawn looks with Arden 15 in it. Some people think I'm crazy. But if you like the look of rye and Bermuda mixed together, actively trying to grow together, then fine. If you want just Bermuda and you want your grass to look as consistent as possible, I would spray it out. I absolutely would. And thanks for chiming in on that, Grace. Yeah, I know that Pete had that issue with his Bermuda. I don't know that you can necessarily say that it was from rye, but I mean, certainly having the rye around did not help things at all. But Pete's gonna knock it out. He's a smart guy. He's gonna get around it, and his lawn is gonna look as good as it always does. No worries there. Jeremy White is back in the house. He says he just got back from Mexico. He says glad to check in. PGR helped more than I thought. I still have to do a how to cut reset. Yeah, not looking forward to that. Love the show. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. I mean, PGR is not a miracle worker, Jeremy, especially if you are feeding your lawn like regularly, right? So if you're kind of doing the golf course lawn program, like where you are, you're spoon feeding it to where the lawn is, has plenty of nutrient. And plant growth regulator is going to really is a tool to take the edge off of how much you got to mow. But as far as like you being able to do like the golf course lawn program, as far as like the spoon feeding, the Carbon Pro G, the Essential G, everything that goes into that, and then be able to walk away from your lawn for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and not mow it. There's only so much you can only ask so much from PGR, But yeah, just mow it, just reset it, and it'll be fine, man. It'll bounce back with no issues. I would not sweat it at all. All right, so Chris Burkett says, thanks to your advice, random people touch my Zenith Zoysia to verify that it's real. Isn't it the best? Isn't it the best? He's like, you real mow it at 5/8 of an inch. It's a good height, 3 days a week. It looks great against my neighbor's 12-inch tall nuts edge sod. That's awesome, man. I'm glad that is what it's about. I am so glad to hear you're getting a great result with it. That your neighbors are obviously taking note. But now here's the thing, Chris. Now here's the thing. You've exerted domination. We've established that you can mow it. You're doing the program. You are also you're maybe doing the spoon feeding, and you're also and you keep up with your mowing, and the grass looks great. If the neighbor that has the 12-inch tall POA or what do you say that he has a nuts edge going on in his lawn, if he asks for help, you got to help him out, man. You got to give him some tips, because here's the thing. You got to realize if your neighbor has nuts edge, eventually you're going to have problems with nuts edge. So it's in your best interest, even if it's just purely selfish, to try and help him out or her out to try and, knock that back a little bit. Keep the nastiness on their side. So, yeah, just help them out. It's always fun to have great looking lawns in the neighborhood instead of just yours, right? But I'm glad, warms my heart. Really happy to hear that you're getting great results with the program, and that mainly it's your just hard work. I tell you guys what I would suggest that you do. You guys do it, but the most important thing is the main reason why your lawn looks the way it looks is what you said there in that second sentence. You real mow it 3 days a week. Like that is the big thing. Mowing is the secret sauce to having a great lawn. And granted, don't get me wrong, Turfplex, golf course lawn, the carbon kit, like those definitely will give you that X factor. But mowing is that's the foundation. It's the foundation. All right, Clayton Wilson's in the house. Clayton says, hello, Ron. Love the tips you gave earlier this week for the 4th of July. Did everything but miss the no major changes as the aeration was already scheduled. Well, you did it, man. No worries. When I said no major changes, aeration, let me think. So a lawn doesn't really look that bad after being aerated as long as you either like mow over the plugs, like you get rid of them, like either you scoop them up like some people like to do, or you mow over them to break them up. It's going to have holes in the lawn, right? You're going to see that. But it's not going to look like terra bad as if you were like mowing your lawn at, hey, I'm mowing my lawn, my Bermuda at 3 inches, and for this 4th of July weekend, I want it to look awesome. I'm going to take it down to like an inch. Over the course of a couple of days, that is not going to go well for you. You're not going to like the way the lawn looks. So aerating, I might have waited till afterwards, but given aerating your lawn versus like a major height of cut reset, aerating is probably the less traumatizing from an appearance standpoint of the lawn. So no worries, man. If it doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother me, But I'm glad you enjoyed the video. It was a fun video to make, and that I put that one there, as number one, as tip one, based on questions that I'd gotten. I got some questions in email saying, hey man, there's like 8 days to the 4th of July. You think if I just want to take the height of cut, if I want to lower the lawn by like half an inch, it'll be all right? And I'm like, no, don't do that. I just, I thought, you know what? If this person is asking, other people are considering this too. So let's put out like a quick, public service announcement, a fun little video to make that will hopefully, help people get a great result with your lawn. Big thing is just mow it and don't do anything too crazy, leading up to the weekend. Thanks so much for watching, Clayton. I really do appreciate it. Lawn to Learn says, hey, Ron, my man, keep the shorts going. I like the action and quick tips before the holidays. I will do. I will do that because I think people are enjoying that. What he's talking about, in case you guys don't know what Lawn to Learn is talking about, on the mornings when I mow the lawn, what I do, and you can only get this on mobile, right? I'll only get this on mobile. What I do are called YouTube stories. YouTube stories, once you have once you have a subscriber count over a certain amount, YouTube unlocks the ability for you to record these little 15-second clips that automatically get published to YouTube that you guys can see on your phone. So if you guys want to see what direction is Ron mowing his lawn today, updates on like the patch of the lawn that got messed up when it had to get it fixed from like the stuff that Amazon did, how the little grass planters are going, things that don't really fit really well into a video. I can make a video out of them, but it'd be just kind of like a ranty, rambly kind of video of me just talking about random stuff that you may or may not like. I could try it, but I don't think you guys would really like it. Check out the YouTube shorts or stories rather. They are only on mobile, so but check that out. I do them fairly regularly, and it's a good way to see kind of like my old style content from last year, where I was kind of doing more vlog style stuff in the lawn. You guys seem to really be enjoying that, so I'll keep doing it. And it's a cool way to see like what's going on with Alice's lawn and other just some small random stuff that you don't really get to see, like behind the scenes type stuff that you don't really see in the main content. So if you're not using your mobile YouTube app to check out the stories, check that out, because that's something I'm going to continue doing because people seem to be enjoying it. Thank you so much, Lawn to Learn. I really appreciate it. All right, Roseberry FH has a question. Says, have you ever considered getting a national reel lawn tractor? No, not really, because I don't have anywhere to put one. That's the big thing. People have said, oh, you should go and get like a triplex, kind of like what Connor has. So it sounds like a good idea, but it's like I don't have anywhere to put something like that. Like Connor has, or people that have that, you need like really, literally like a shed, like a place to actually park it. Like it needs like Toro only parking, like its own parking for that. So if I got that, then I'd have to park like the car outside. I don't want to do that. So yeah, no. And plus, really, as my lawn looks big, and it is large. It is a larger lawn. But really, it's I'd only really be able to use something like that on the back lawn. Like I don't know about putting something like a tractor like that on the slope. So really, I'm really just getting something that size for cutting 8,000 or 9,000 square feet thereabouts. So not really worth it when you also consider that now I've got like 3 reels I got to get sharpened to maintain, and I got to and I got all the other maintenance that goes into a piece of equipment like that. So yeah, probably not. That's a lot of the reasons why I haven't considered it, Roseberry. But yeah, thanks for bringing it for the question. Mainly because I don't have anywhere to put one. That's why. That is why. So Gabriel gives us some follow up, guys. He says that regarding the Xeon, the Zod was laid early in October 2020, and only some parts of the sod took root. They did not kill the Bermuda back enough, and the Bermuda took over the root zone. Yeah, that's happened. That's a thing. That is a true story. So a neighbor, you guys don't ever see their lawn, but like across the street, like I can't really describe, but like a neighbor that's close to me, they're probably I don't know, they're probably like a 7-iron from my back patio. They did that. They had a Bermuda lawn, because all the lawns in here are Bermuda to start with. They had a Bermuda lawn, and they went and they changed it to Zoysia, and whoever did it literally just cut the Bermuda down. They just scalped the Bermuda and then laid the Zoysia sod on top of it. And needless to say, that did not work out so well. So, definitely, if you're going to try and replace Bermuda with Zoysia, you got to kill it. You got to knock it back. You got to do a lot of, as much as you can to give the Zoysia every opportunity to root in properly and become the dominant grass. So yeah, I'm glad you were able to fix that yourself, Gabriel. That's pretty cool. All right, ZenClick says, "Oh my God, you're live." I am. I think I'm alive. Hang on, pinch. Yep. I'm live. I'm here. So ask your question if you got anything going on. I am here live, ZenClicks. All right. So Jamar Kinley says, "I've been trying to level my lawn, but my local landscape supply only has brick sand. Any idea this would be sufficient for leveling?" I mean, brick sand and masonry sand should. Again, watch. A mason is going to be like, no, they're not. I would think they'd be the same thing or fairly close. What you were looking for, Jamar, is a coarse sand, so coarser grade of sand. So you don't want to use like play sand, like the kind of sand that if you hold it in your hand, it kind of runs through your fingers super easily. You want something that's a little bit, that's just coarse. That's the best way to describe it. Just coarser sand. Without seeing a picture of it, I can't say for sure if that would work. If you can get a picture of it, you can send it to me here at ron@golfcourselawn.com. That's my email address. Send me a picture of it. I can tell you, yeah, that would work or it won't work. But if it's coarse, that should be okay. If what they're calling brick sand is masonry sand, I think they're the same thing. I think that should be fine. But without actually seeing it, I can't say for sure. All right, Zenaclicks, now that he knows that I'm live, he says, "I just looked up the video on how to kill weeds without killing grass, and your video came up. I looked at your video, instant subscribe." Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. It's funny. I did that video last year, and whenever I did it, I really didn't even like it. Like after I was done with the video, I published it, But like people, like, oh, those of us on YouTube, like, we're our worst critics, right? We publish the content, and like, we can find every fault with it. And I have to remember that really, the content that's really that matters. Like, how well something is filmed doesn't matter as much as the information. So, and a lot of people really like that video. Like, it's been getting a ton of response this year. So I appreciate you, Zen Clicks. Thank you so much for watching it. Thank you so much also for subscribing. Hopefully the new content I've been doing this season has also been helpful as well too. If not, let me know. Like, if there's something you want to see, in one of the videos, it doesn't have to be that video. Just drop a comment in one of the videos when I publish something and say, hey, Ron, I'd really like to see a question about or a video on this. And if it's something that I can make the content on, or I have whatever I need to be able to do it, I will add it to the queue and we'll get it done. So thank you so much for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Always nice gaining the trust of a new viewer. And any of you guys that are watching, that are just watching the live stream, if you guys are just lurking and just haven't hit the subscribe button ever so gently, go ahead and do that, man. It's free for you guys to do. I promise I won't send you guys, inundate you guys with a bunch of bad content. And it's a no risk relationship for you guys, right? You could always cancel the relationship if you don't like it, but I'd really appreciate it if you guys would consider doing that as well too. Okay, great. ZenClicks, thanks so much for chiming in. All right, so Dwayne Hopkins is chiming in here. He says, "Hey Ron, always love the channel. Can you take a minute and talk about the P and NPK? And it's important. So many fertilizers don't have you said potassium, but you really mean phosphorus. And curious how important it is to lawn. So the NPK, so N is nitrogen, the P is phosphorus, and the K is potassium. You really think some people think that P is potassium, but it's phosphorus. So nitrogen, as probably the best description I always hear, Alan always says it. Nitrogen is what drives the bus. It drives growth. It causes your lawn to be green. It's the one that powers the engine of growth in your turf grass. Like, your grass needs the nitrogen more than anything else. Phosphorus is a nutrient that builds up in the soil over time, and it helps. The big thing you always hear about it is that it helps with rooting. So nitrogen helps with the grass growing up. Phosphorus helps with with growth beneath the soil. So as far as like establishing strong roots, phosphorus is important for that. And then the K in NPK, which is potassium, the best way to think about that is it's like it helps with like water movement in the grass. So as far as like any kind of fertilizers that are like stress blends, kind of like with a Yard Mastery stress blend, they tend to be higher in potassium. So that helps with this water movement in the grass. It helps with the overall health of the grass in general. So those three are like a supporting cast, and your grass needs those needs those in higher quantities than there's other macros, but I call them like the secondary macros and then the micronutrients. So though NPK, by far, your grass needs more of that than anything else. As far as why some fertilizers don't have the P, the phosphorus, is because it's banned, it's outlawed, or it's restricted. It's restricted in some states because if you put phosphorus in the lawn, if you use too much of it, unlike nitrogen and potassium, which tend to go away, they don't hang around in the soil for long periods of time. That's not the case so much with phosphorus. Like phosphorus, once you get it in the soil and it builds up, it tends to hang around for the most part. It doesn't degrade as quickly as the others. And one of the issues with phosphorus is that if you use a lot of heavy phosphorus fertilizer and you happen to live near any kind of body of water, the runoff from that tends to spawn algae bloom. It tends to cause a problem called, if I can pronounce the word, it's called eutrophication, depending on how you pronounce it, which is like an overgrowth of algae and plant life in bodies of water, which upsets the balance, like the natural like ecosystem of that body of water, and tends to kill the fish and kills other aquatic life. So for that reason, phosphorus is restricted in a lot of states. Like, they don't want people putting it on your lawns unless there's actually have a soil test saying, hey, I absolutely need to use this. And because some fertilizer manufacturers want to be able to sell their fertilizer to like all over the country, they don't want to, like some states where you can't put phosphorus on your lawn easily. They know that if they make a lot of fertilizers that have P in it, have phosphorus in them, by definition, that fertilizer is not going to be able to sold in those states. So that's why also, as far as what's for Humic Max, like the fertilizer that I recommend, the one that I use in my spoon feeding program, it's a 1608. For Bermuda, really, what you would want if you're like following like the agronomist, Bermuda really would want like a 1648. But again, for a lawn or a soil that already has enough phosphorus in it, there's no reason to add more of it in most cases, right? So that's hopefully that helps answer your question. They're all important. All of them, like in the right quantities, help promote a healthier turf. But yeah, the reason why why the phosphorus is you don't see it in as many fertilizers as you do N and K, because they're trying to restrict the use of it because it causes problems, especially if you're near large bodies of water and you have a lot of runoff. It creates problems. Really not. Here's the thing: a lot of the issue is really not from us so much, from like the lawn people. It's a lot of it's from like farmland when they put down too much P and again runoff into the bodies of water and causes problems. So. There you go. That's actually something I talk about in the course. So if you're interested, if you enjoyed that, if those of you guys like geeking out on this kind of stuff, like this kind of like that question is something that I could make a video on YouTube and like nobody would watch it, right? But that very topic is something that's covered in detail in the course. Like literally every single nutrient from NPK down to sulfur, calcium, zinc, all the micros, all those are all broken down in a video where I talk about what each of them does, the quantities you need them in, why they're important, how they all balance together. So that's something that's in the Golf Course Lawn Academy if you're interested. If you can't get enough of geeking out on soil nutrient. Great question, Dwayne. That's not one I've gotten in the live stream before. Thanks for asking that. Dalvin is up next with a question about Nutrizolve. He says, hey, Ron, how often do you use Nutrizolve in your program and at what rate? Okay, great question. So Nutrizolve, whenever this time of the month for getting ready for the 4th of July, I did Nutrizolve at full rate. So it's 6 ounces per 1,000. I use Nutrizolve along with Turfplex at the beginning of the month and then also in the 15th. So I use it along with Turfplex. So it goes in as well too. I use it at a very low rate though, other than like this weekend, like 4th of July weekend. So the normal rate for Nutrizolve calls for 6 ounces per 1,000. Because Turfplex already has some iron, some zinc, and manganese in it, I don't want to like go crazy by like going super heavy on those micronutrients by running Nutrizolve as well at full rate. So whenever I mix Nutrizolve along with Turfplex, I go at like 2 ounces per 1,000. So very, very low rate, 2-3 ounces per 1,000, very light, right? Just to get a little bit more iron than what's in the Turfplex. That is what I typically use in a spoon feeding program. So it's like 6 ounces per 1,000 of the Turfplex, 2 ounces per 1,000 of the Nutrizolve, and that happens on the 1st and in the middle of the month. This week is the exception in that because I want the lawn to look as absolute best. I want as dark green as I possibly get it. For this weekend, I went full rate on the Nutrizolve, 6 ounces per 1,000, but that's the exception. Hopefully that helps answer your question. So if you want to get Nutrizolve as well, that's something you can do as well too. If you want a little bit more iron in your lawn, just a little bit, a little bit more micronutrient, just a little bit of a kicker, then you can do that. And the nice thing about it is if you pick up a bottle of Nutrizolve, it's going to last a lot longer than the Turfplex because the Turfplex is doing most of the heavy lifting. The Nutrizolve, we're just using that just to fill in the micronutrients, just get a little bit more iron and to fill in like the other micronutrient that Turfplex does not have, like the copper and boron. There's none of that in Turfplex. So that's why. Great question. CR has a question about the Earthway spreader. He says, hey, I recently got an Earthway 2050P. Congratulations. After seeing your reviews. Great spreader, but I'm still getting used to it after years of using a traditional Scott's rotary spreader from Lowe's. Yeah, I mean, it is an adjustment. It definitely is an adjustment compared to the Scott's, but I think once you get used to it, you'll really enjoy it. CR, one thing I've gotten here, I had a viewer that sent me an email that had an issue with theirs. They just recently got one, and they had an issue with one of like the way the Earthway works is there's a wing nut that locks down the spreader setting, and they were saying that with them, like that wing nut, I guess maybe isn't getting tight enough or something, and it's very easy if you just bump it just a little bit, the setting will move. I'd be interested in finding out if that's the case for you. I don't have that on mine, but I'm just interested in finding out if anyone else is having that issue as well. But yeah, man, the Earthway is a great spreader, mainly for the biggest reason why. There's other companies that make great spreaders, like Lesco makes a good one, Echo makes a good spreader, but the reason why I like the Earthway, one, is that it's what I consider to be like a prosumer. So it's better than the ones that you get at like Lowe's and Home Depot. And it's considered like commercial grade enough that fertilizer manufacturers will actually put a spreader setting for it, for their products on the bag. Like you look at like, a lot of like, again, I don't say higher, but more professional grade products. A lot of them won't have spreader settings for Scott spreaders. Why? I don't know. To me, it doesn't make sense because like everybody and their grandmother has a Scott spreader. But again, I guess they're targeting maybe the professional industry, so that's why they don't do that. But with an Earthway, you have a much better chance of having a setting, having a calibration for that spreader on the bag, which is a big reason why I push and recommend that one so much. So congrats on it. As you get used to it better, more, I think you'll go to really like it and enjoy it a bit more. Let's see. ZenClicks has a question. He says, "Can I get information about seeding my grass that already has weeds? I got a putting green." I'm not sure if I understand your question. So you want to seed grass that already has weeds. So two different issues. If you have weeds in your lawn, just figure out if you can figure out what the weeds are, and spray a selective herbicide that will target those weeds to try and knock them back. As far as seeding for a putting green, that's a different thing altogether. But in other words, weeds and seeding are two different things altogether. And really, from a standpoint of herbicides and seeding, the only real thing you got to be careful of is you don't want to put down anything that has any kind of pre-emergent in it. So there's a product from Spectracide that I recommend a lot, like a granular that I tend to tell people to use quite a bit. If you decide to go the granular route for taking care of the weeds and you're trying to put a putting green in, you would not want to use that granular product because it has a pre-emergent in it, and that will negatively affect the germination that you get out of whatever seeds you're going to be using in the putting green that you're building, if that makes sense. But outside of that, just figure out what kind of weeds you have, get a herbicide that targets them, and get rid of them. Great question, ZenClicks. Okay, Trin Dave is back in. He says, second question. He says, second question. New Arden15 seed is coming in well. It's growing in well. Glad to hear it. But the lawn still has a few bumps and divots. Isn't that thing? We're just never happy, are we? Trojan Dave? He says, how late is it to top dress with sand and soil mixed for leveling purposes? You're still good to go, sir. Still good to go. I'll tell you this way. If you guys look at the Fix My Ugly Lawn series, if you guys have not seen that, you should check it out. It's actually pretty cool. I'm actually pretty proud of that work. Not proud of the video, and the video could have been better. But as far as like the entire process and showing how quickly a lawn can transform, let me see if I can find it here. And I'll get it to you guys. Yeah, so this series here, I'll put it in the chat. So the top dressing that you see in that video, like when we did Alex's lawn, at Trojan Dave or anyone else that really wants to take a look at it, like that top dressing of Alex's lawn actually happened next week, this time last year. So we actually top dressed his lawn after 4th of July weekend. So 4th of July, July is a great time to top dress the lawn. As far as it recovering very quickly, the only negative to doing it this time of year is that it's July, it's the middle of summer, so it's gonna be really hot. But as far as like doing that, no issues whatsoever. As far as how late, the latest I would do it, if the heat holds out, I wouldn't top dress much past like the first weeks, maybe second week of August. That's as late as I would go for warm season grass. For cool season grass, your season's starting up. That's the time for you to actually go at it. But for warm season grass, at least in the Georgia area, early August is probably the last time I would put down any kind of sand on the lawn if you want it to grow in prior to the lawn going dormant. But yeah, you can totally fix that, man. If it's only a small areas too, you can just do some spot top dressing, like I do that. But if you want to go a full top dress, like you're not happy with it, once that Arden 15 grows in, it's doing well, it's loving life, which it sounds like it is, feel free to go hog wild, man. Go ahead and hit it again. Go light, but go ahead and you can do an entire full top dress. There's plenty of time still in the season this year to get a good result. LG is all happy. He's doing his happy dance. I'm so happy LG won. He says, he got my limited edition at Josh Habib sticker yesterday. I'm glad because I'll tell you something. LG, the amount of belly aching that that we as in the golf course lawn community have to endure whenever LG does not, get his sticker or, we go too many live streams and he doesn't win. It becomes a thing. So I'm glad that on the first return to giveaways that LG got a sticker, and he got a really cool one. It's a really nice sticker. So I'm glad you got that, sir. I'm just giving you a hard time. So it's all in love. Always messing with you, always in love. So but yeah, I'm glad you got your sticker. Glad it showed up. Very, very good stuff. Okay, let's see. So Jurassic Go Park goes in. He says, "Yep, took all your advice. The mowers were for a golf course that canceled. All right, good. And the reel was sharpened. Has a lot of life left with a new bed knife and with all over service and inspection. I got the best of the bunch. Way to go. That's the way to do it, man. If you get a mower from Jerry Pate, it's gonna be in good shape because those guys, again, that's what they do. They work. That's their specialty. So as far as anybody that knows how to set up a mower properly, that's the ones. Those are the guys in the Southeast United States. At least when it comes to Toro, that's who I would go with. All right, Kiltings, you sent me some pictures by a messenger. Thanks. I'll take a look at those as soon as I get out of the live stream. I'll get an answer for you. Appreciate that, sir. No problem at all. Thanks for sending me the video. And Dwayne is back with a question about pre-emergent. He says, "Hey Ron, I was really diligent this year with pre-emergent. This is the first year I have not seen crabgrass. Thank God. I've been consistently over 100 degree temps. Being in July, am I in the clear? I would say yeah. I mean, you should be. If you haven't seen any crabgrass by now, you're probably good. Like my lawn has crabgrass in it. I mean, little baby ones. And as I'm mowing, I just go through and I pull them. But unlike you, I didn't put down pre-emergent, right? So pre-emergent works if you apply it properly at the correct rates. You water it in. It's very effective. It's very effective for preventing crabgrass and particularly crabgrass in warm season lawns. So glad to hear that you got your pre-emergent down. You're getting a good result with it. And yeah, I mean, if you're not seeing any by now, you're probably good. You still might get some spurge here and there. You might see nuts edge, but I mean, the point is also keep in mind, pre-emergent isn't a silver bullet in the sense that like you put down pre-emergent and you get like zero weeds. I mean, that can be the case, but like it's at a minimum, you're going to see like a huge reduction in the amount of weeds you get in your lawn. That's a big advantage to it, where you don't have to blanket your lawn with herbicides. That's the big, the big plus of pre-emergent. Here's the thing, Dwayne. So you passed half the test. Half the test is done. You passed it as far as getting down your pre-emergent in the spring. In the fall, you want to do that too. So there's 2 times of the year to apply pre-emergent. You want to do a spring pre-emergent and also a fall pre-emergent because that's going to prevent you from having issues with POA in the springtime next year. So you want to make sure you put down a pre-emergent in the fall to prevent that. So yeah, you're halfway through. You're halfway there. You obviously got your system worked out because you got rid of not having weeds in your lawn. So in the fall, let's run it back, and you should be good for next spring. Kelby Ruiz is in the house. Thanks, Kelby, for coming to hang out. He has a question. He says, my neighbor sprayed herbicide to kill weeds in the backyard and bruises Bermuda pretty bad due to heat. How can I help him? At this point, there's not a whole lot you can do other than just wait for it to bounce back. It's highly unlikely that he killed the Bermuda. I mean, it probably looks like he killed it, but the Bermuda is going to come back. It's very, very, very difficult to kill Bermuda. Even when you want to kill it, it's hard to kill it. So at this point, what I would tell him to do is if he can pick up his mowing, even though the Bermuda is bruised, pick up your mowing, tell him to mow it. That's going to help stimulate growth. If he can also put down, I'm not sure if he's fertilizing his lawn or anything yet. I don't have any details around what you're doing with him. But if he's not fertilizing the lawn, now would be a good time to get down a fertilizer. That's going to help promote growth and help the lawn bounce back a bit sooner. But the short answer to the problem is it's just time, Kelby. There's not really any silver bullet I can just tell you that's going to happen. He can just apply this to the lawn. It's going to instantly turn green after being hit with a herbicide. Unfortunately, if you go too heavy or you spray outside of the temperature range for it, like that, the Spectracide that I recommend a lot of times to you guys, like that one has very, very tight parameters. They say between 45 degrees up to 90 degrees. So really, once temperatures get above like 80, 85, well, not 80, but I was thinking of like 85 degrees or higher, I would really consider backing off of not using that because you don't want to damage the Bermuda, which sounds like your neighbor did, but just give it time. It will bounce back. Let's see. Kelby Ruiz also says, I'm still fighting these tiny little white bugs that jump when I walk through the lawn. I'm using Spectracide for bugs and a hose and sprayer with little impact. I'm not sure what kind of bugs you're dealing with. That's in my eye. Sorry, you guys, for keep busting my eye during the live stream. I'm not sure what kind of bugs those are. Are you sure the Spectracide you're using is for lawn insects? Make sure that it's for that. We could try that. You could also try Celoprin because it's really, I'm not sure what kind of bugs you're dealing with that are jumping around, but as far as like lawn insects that or most common lawn insect pests, Celoprin works for most of them, right? It works for a lot of them. So I would give that a shot as well if he's still having the issue. If after you do apply the Spectracide, and you give it some time to work, you're still having the problem, then maybe go with a Celoprin because that's like you pull out the big guns. That's the Mac Daddy of like a granular insecticide. So give that a go, and I'll throw a link in here for you as far as you can pick that up. Assuming you don't have like a Site One nearby, this is what I would recommend for him to put in his lawn. Kelby, send that to you at Kelby Ruiz. There you are. Kelby, you changed your avatar, looks like. You changed your avatar, but yeah, there you go. That's what I would use. And then Doug says, I think he meant due to Poanua. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Doug. We'll have to revisit it. Okay, SMK, Effortless Creation in the house. Hi, guys. What's going on? Always fun. And then there we go. SMK, always the man that has like the random like bits of knowledge. He says Chambers Bay has Poa annua greens. They looked beautiful, mowed at an eighth of an inch. Definitely not realistic for homeowners. So there you go. Poa annua can look amazing. You know, kind of like Bermuda. Like most people think like Bermuda. Why do you even grow that? It's like a weed. It can look really nice if you do a good job mowing it, right? You can. It's the same thing with Poa annua. Even though we can't stand it here in the Southeast United States, you know, I guess with the right care and in the right scenarios, it can look really good. D-Dom has a problem with crabgrass coming up. So he says, Ron, I'm having an issue with crabgrass coming up everywhere in my Bermuda. What's a good way to kill it all off before it becomes a big issue? Is it too late now due to harming the Bermuda? So it depends, right? So the idea of the best time to get rid of crabgrass is when it's young, right? When it gets to fourth or fifth tiller stage, when it has multiple shoots off the main stalk, it becomes harder and harder to kill. So if it's still baby crabgrass, what you can use is and it's Bermuda. You could go with something like that, like quinclorac. Like that's a very good selective herbicide that targets crabgrass. Does a really good job against it. If you haven't tried Spectracide as yet, man, give that a shot. I mean, that's really, the price is right on Spectracide. I mean, I know it's kind of basic and people like to go, it's a Spectracide, Home Depot, whatever, but it's a great product. I mean, if you want something to try on your lawn, I would go with this, man. I'd give this a shot. Like go to run down to Home Depot, Lowe's, or Wally World, and pick up a bottle of this and try that, because this does have quinclorac in it. Like one of the active ingredients. I'll actually put it right under your name here if I can stop my scroll. See right here, right above your name, right there. Like it's got, well, no, that's wrong. Right there, it's got quinclorac in it. Granted, it's at a lighter rate. It's at a lighter concentration than what you would get if you applied it like just quinclorac just directly. But it should be enough if it's young crabgrass to begin to knock it back. So that's worth a shot. But with crabgrass, definitely the earlier you can catch it, the better. So, you know, if you're mowing your grass really short, that's also helpful too, because like you're literally cutting it off all the time. So it's not really getting a chance to get big. But anything with quinclorac in it will work well against it. There's another herbicide that's a little bit cheaper, or can be cheaper. It's called Jason Krill talks about it all the time. It's Drive Accelerate. It's like XL. I think it's XLR and the number 8. Drive Accelerate. That's another one that will also kill crabgrass as well. I think it's a little bit more cost effective than getting quinclorac. But yeah, the big thing with crabgrass D-Dom is earlier. The earlier in the season you can get it, the better. So knock it out earlier in the season, and there you go. All right, let's see what else we got here. So Chaz Bishop is in the house. We have to applaud it again. So Chaz is saying, hello, Ron, I have joined the Real Mower Club. Got to clap it up. Got to happen. He said he got it a week ago, and he's mowing his lawn already 3 times a week. I salute you, sir. It's awesome. He said the lawn looks great, and it's Bermuda. That's good. Awesome. Very, very, very good. You're doing all the right things. I heard real mower. I heard like 3 times a week mowing, and I heard Bermuda. That's like those go together. They're not like mayonnaise and ice cream. Like Bermuda and regular mowing and a real mower, they go together. They do. They go together like rum and Coke, like rum and raisin ice cream. Like I don't know, whatever. They go together. They're a good match made for each other. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. So Sarge is in the house. He says, great live chat again. You also have good advice and it's good advice for many problems. Let's see what else we have here. So Adrian has a question, Fraser. I've never used this product, but we'll ask it anyway. Agent Fraser says, great show. Appreciate it, Adrian. He says, what are your thoughts on ferrous sulfate, hep hydrate, 20% iron as an economical pop of green on the lawn? I've never actually looked into that product, so I can't tell you like what kind of results you could get with it. I don't know. I mean, there's tons of products that will that have iron that will you get a great result with. I'm not familiar with that one, so I can't say that's a economical way to do it. It might be, but because I'm not familiar with it, I don't want to go and tell you or anyone else to go ahead and do that. But yeah, I mean, if there's other people that are doing it, they've had good results with it, and you do some research and you see that that's an option, then go for it. But there's so many options for iron, liquid iron, that again, liquid iron is not really expensive as far as like things to apply to your lawn. Liquid iron is not one of the ones that tend to be more costly. So, but no, I don't know the answer to that one, Adrian, because I've never actually used that product. But great question. Hopefully, maybe someone else will chime in the live stream that knows more about that than I do. and we'll get you an answer. All right, Kelby saying he took his Bermuda backyard to the lowest setting on my Honda Rotary. No scalping on the bumpiest lawn ever. Should I keep it going at this height? Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, if it looks good, I mean, how does the lawn look? If the lawn looks good at that height, and it's not scalping, then yes. I mean, Bermuda, the lower you can cut Bermuda, I mean, to a reasonable number, right? Like once you get much past half an inch, you start trading color for height of cut. So, but you're not there yet. So if you're Honda Rotary, you can drop it all the way to the bottom and you can cut with no issue. And you also are mowing often enough, which I think you are, that your lawn still looks good. You said you're mowing 3 times a week. Just keep doing it, man. Roll with it, because that's the lower you mow Bermuda, the thicker it's going to get. It's going to get denser, and that's going to be like your natural weed control. A good example, like, you look at my lawn, like I have crabgrass in my lawn. You guys never see it because the lawn is mowed so short. But because the lawn is mowed so frequently and it's mowed short, the crabgrass just never gets established. You should see, like, every time I go and I pick one out, like the crabgrass is looking at me like, bro, look, I just got cut off. I'm like just under half an inch here. Give me some help, man. Just like let me live. And literally, it never gets established. It looks the leaves are already wilting due to the fact that it's always cut so short, and the roots never really get established. I can just stick my finger and just easily grab it and pinch it, and it comes out, roots and all. So mowing short, there's a lot of benefits to it, outside of just the lawn looking cool, but mainly looking cool. But yeah, there's other reasons to do it other than that as well. David Lee Views is in the house. He said, big up, brethren. Thanks for all the good videos. I appreciate it. Appreciate you watching, sir. Thanks you so much for watching the content. I really appreciate it. Now, SMK is up here asking, I think, a question or maybe a statement. Hopefully it's a statement, because if he's asking me a question, I'm probably in trouble. But we're going to pull it up anyway. He says, Ron, I have a chamber biter issue caused by my neighbor. Going to try a combination of Celsius and sulfentrazone instead of triplet sulfentrazone. We'll send you pics of the results, because chamber biter is noxious. Yeah. Send me pictures of it, man. Definitely let me know. You have my email address. We've already spoken before. Believe it or not, SMK was the first guest on the live stream. So he's like, he's got that one in his cap. No one else can ever claim that. He was the first person that ever agreed to come on the live stream. My very, very first guest. It was really cool. He's sitting there drinking water, I think, out of it wasn't one this size, but he had like a beaker or something. I know, like a measuring container. It's not really a beaker. This is not a beaker. He has like a measuring container he's drinking water out of. I'm like, this guy is like cut from a different cloth. He's definitely a cool, definitely a character. But yeah, man, definitely let me know. Keep me in the know on that, how it works out, how that combination works. You got my email address already, but if not, it's ron@golfcourselawn.com. Let me know how it goes. Send me pictures. Send me pictures of how it looks now if you can. Send them some before and then after, because it'll be cool just to share that with viewers, as far as, what you're dealing with and then your results. It's always fun. Okay. And let's see. Doug is in here. Let's see what else. We have here. We got Keith Walker in the house. He says, got my sand leveling done. Patiently waiting on recovery. And yep. And then Doug is talking about keeping Bermuda out of your mulch bed or your neighbor's lawn. He says, neighbor's Bermuda will eventually invade your non-Bermuda lawn. True. That's true. Very true. The only plausible ways to avoid it is to put a non-grass barrier, e.g. a mulch bed between the Bermuda and your non-Bermuda. Because it's the alpha grass. Yeah, so like a mulch bed or something like a metal plate, like something like not only at the surface, something that goes beneath the surface. Because the rhizomes, if you put like something that's just a surface level, the rhizomes will run and they'll just pop up on the other side and be like, we're here, they'll still find a way. Bermuda finds a way, kind of like life finds a way. Bermuda finds a way. It is incredibly tenacious. So, some kind of a physical barrier is really going to be your best bet. And then that physical barrier is always going to be like a DMZ, right? There's always going to be like a war zone that you're always fighting to keep the Bermuda out of that. But at least it won't be in your lawn. Thanks for chiming in, Doug. It's a good point. Great thanks for sharing your thoughts on the matter. And Will Dog Hale has a question. He says, good evening, Ron. He says, first time I'm not simul streaming SEC baseball during your live stream, but a national championship was worth it. Right? Thank you for your content. See, now that's the one sport I don't really follow as much, man, is baseball. And I'm probably gonna get all kinds of hate from you, Will, for that. I don't really follow, I guess SEC is going to be college baseball. I don't really follow it as much as football, as some of the nerd sports like golf and tennis. But I'm glad that you are at least here. I appreciate you. appreciate you here in the live stream, man. And I'm glad that the national championship, I guess your team won. Good job. Congrats. I'm not sure who it was. Hopefully they didn't beat Georgia on the way to win, but they probably did because Georgia is just, I mean, Georgia is all an exercise in long suffering. Like I fully expect the Hawks to mess it up. Now watch, you guys can see it. I'm saying it here. What is today? Today's July 2nd. If the Hawks win the national championship, you guys can like come and laugh at me and say, "Hey, Ron, see, we finally won." But I'm thinking they're going to find a way to blow it eventually. I think. Okay, we got CJ Breeze is in the house. So it's like one of the best. Like is Angry Birds, like a Rastafarian Angry Birds. I want to force my Bermuda into summer dormancy so I can wake it up when my sprinkler system is repaired in about 7 weeks. Tips? No, not really. No, it doesn't work that way. I guess what can you do? You could just not water it. You could just not water it at all. That's probably not going to be enough though, because Bermuda likes. Here's the thing: Bermuda does not need a lot of water to be happy. And then it loves hot weather. It loves hot weather and it loves sunlight. So now is like, if you're trying to not get Bermuda to grow, this time of year is literally one of the hardest times to do that. So yeah, no, I've never been asked that one before. As far as like forcing Bermuda into dormancy in the summer, I don't know of any way to really do that short of like if you live somewhere where it's like super hot, like Arizona, where like you're in the desert and you just don't water. So you need to get Bermuda to go into dormancy is you need extreme heat, you need no rain, and then you have a chance of it happening. But if you get any kind of rainfall at any point, the Bermuda's going to just come right back. So don't have an answer for you on that one, CJ Breeze. I don't know. I would just keep mowing it. I mean, even if it doesn't look as good because your irrigation system is broken, just keep mowing it. It's still going to be all right. I mean, you don't always have to run irrigation all the time to make the grass look great. I would just keep mowing it. I wouldn't try and force it into dormancy. I would not do that. All right, LG is in the house. He's saying that Nutrizolve is a must for my soil. A single app brought out some nice blue tones in about 2 to 3 days. That's the thing, man. It's I gotta tell you, like Ecologel, like they're onto something, man. As far as like the Turfplex and Nutrizolve, especially when you combine it with the carbon kit, especially when you combine it with like Release Zero, like this, this being like the catalyst to really like supercharge that nutrient uptake, man. It's they're both excellent products. I can't say enough about them, and they're not that expensive. Like the price is right on Nutrizolve and Turfplex. And you're right, like 2 to 3 days, like you're gonna see the response. You're gonna see what you're gonna get out of it. And the nice thing about them is foliar uptake. Don't need to water them in. Like there's tons of benefits, and they're not that expensive. So yeah, if you're looking for something that's gonna really help your lawn, get you some instant green quickly, Turfplex and or Nutrizolve, both available at the Golf Course Lawn Store. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about here. Might have it. Yep, I can actually cut over here. This guy, these are the ones we're talking about. So for your primary nitrogen source, Turfplex, this guy has a little bit of nitrogen in it, or a little bit of iron in there, a little bit of micronutrient. And then for primarily your iron needs, Nutrizolve, this is the one that LG is talking about. So this stuff is excellent stuff for like, again, you spray it on your lawn, 2 to 3 days later, you're going to see a really, really nice color response. So I'm glad that you're getting good response with it, LG. I too have gotten great response with it. Anyone that's used it, I've not had anybody come back to me like, man, it didn't work. I mean, look at Daryl's lawn. I mean, I hate to show this because it makes my lawn look bad. I mean, look at the color on that. I mean, that's insane, right? And that's from Nutrizolve. Literally, that's what he's doing. Like the carbon kit and the golf course lawn suite of products, Nutrizolve and Turfplex, is what he's using. Thank you for sharing your story, LG. I really appreciate that. So we have a question here from 2Trilla1 is in the live stream, and he says, "Hey Ron, would you advise scalping a new lawn at the beginning of next season? I'm in, but a debate with the wife. We love the content, by the way. Okay, so when you say it's a new lawn, so it's a lawn that's already growing now. You're saying, I guess you've already established the lawn now. Is it growing now? And you're asking about scalping it at the beginning of next season." If that's the question, yes. If it's Bermuda anyway, yeah. If you're saying if the lawn was installed anytime this year, like it's installed now, and next year you want to like start the season off right. And again, to be fair, let me argue both sides of this. I always like to do that. I always like to argue both sides of a position, right? If you do not have to scalp your lawn, you do not have to do that. What that does though is it does get you the lawn a green up about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks sooner than if you don't scalp it. And if you have any kind of a thatch buildup, if your lawn is really thick, or if you're trying to mow the lawn shorter, so say right now your lawn's at like, I don't know, 2 inches and you're trying to go down to 1 inch or maybe even shorter than that, scalping is a good way to do that. So doing it at the beginning of the season is fresh. It's a way to open up the turf, get plenty of sunlight, lots of heat on more down towards the soil to help the grass really begin growing. That's a time of the year to do it. There's people that actually do it this time of year too. They do like a mid-season scalp. But I find that tends to be the case mainly when you're not keeping up with your mowing. If you are mowing your lawn fairly regularly, like you're religious about your mowing, where the lawn never gets away from you, like this midsummer scalp tends to not be necessary. But it doesn't hurt anything. Again, all you're really talking about is a week or so, week 10 days of the lawn looking kind of unsightly. I might try. I've never actually done that. I wonder if I should. I mean, I might. I'm not going to scalp my lawn. The more I think about it, I'm not doing that. I was going to say I might scalp it just to create content and show you guys how long it takes the lawn to bounce back. But I really don't feel like scalping my lawn and making it look ugly when it's looking so good this time of year. But yes, to answer the question between you and the wife, if you're listening, I am not taking sides here. You guys do whatever you guys want to do. But I will say that scalping your lawn in the spring is a lot of work, but there are a lot of benefits to it as well. And if the lawn has been established, was planted or grown in this year, there's no problem with doing it next year at all. So great question. Thank you guys so much for watching the content. I appreciate you. All right. Patrick from Texas says, what an awesome forum. Enjoying it. I appreciate you for watching, Patrick. Thanks for taking some time out of your Friday evening to do that. Chaz Bishop is saying, hey, Ron, I have joined the Real Mower Club, cutting the lawn 3 times a week. Lawn looks great. I viewed your video from April 2017 and decided to get one. Glad I did it. We got to clap that up while I take a sip of my lemonade. Awesome. Awesome stuff, Chaz. It's fun. It's always fun to see people still going back and watching my cringe content. I guess that's what I call it. But the content that I shot like several years ago that I can't even watch it now because it's just like the way I videoed it and just all the big run-on sentence and things, everything being longer than it really needs to be, just it like causing me to cringe. But people still get a lot of value out of it, so I really appreciate that. I mean, the information, like the messaging, is pretty much the same. It hasn't changed a whole lot from like years ago to now. But I'm glad you got some value out of it. You got your real mower and that you're using it, and that the content has been useful. So thank you so much, sir. I really do appreciate that. So Patrick in Texas says, can you tell me a little bit more about your Lawn Academy is about and how do I get it? Great question. So Patrick, the Golf Course Lawn Academy is a set of videos that I put together that for people that want like a targeted program. So a lot of the content that I talk about on YouTube, there's like so I'll give you an example of some things that are going to be that you'll find in the academy that once I get the content moved over, that is similar to also what's on YouTube. Like the top dressing content that's on YouTube and that I will put in the academy. I just got to find time to recut it and do it. Like those two are going to be very, very similar. What the academy does is that you're going to, as far as getting set up, as far as like choosing like the right mower, around mowing frequency, around watering, around figuring out like how to figure out a fertilization program as far as like what the different macro and micronutrients do and why you need them and why they're important. Pretty much content that won't work on YouTube because nobody would watch it because it would be boring to most people. It doesn't have any mass appeal. Like that is what went into the academy. I have a really, really good video in there on backpack sprayers. So a lot of questions that I get from people that when they start deciding to spray their lawns is around like how to calibrate a backpack sprayer, like some tips on how to get a good result. And I put a lot of like everything that I know about that into a video on it that a lot of, like I get a lot of emails from people saying like that video alone is worth the course. Like what they learned in that as far as like the methods and the content they got out of that was really valuable. In addition, for people that like a calendar, that want like an application calendar, like you will find one in the course. Like the only place you'll get an application calendar from me is in the course, primarily because like if I figure that anyone that buys the course is going to be invested enough that they are actually going to like use the products that I'm telling them to use. And the application calendar that's in there assumes that you're using Turfplex, assumes that you're using the Carbon Kit, and that you're using Humic Max. So it works very well. I mean, Daryl used it on his lawn. You can see how his lawn looks. Like this is an example of someone that is in the Golf Course Lawn Academy. He's like one of the first people that signed up for it. He's followed it religiously and he gets amazing results with it. So it's just a structured program for people that want something they can watch in a few hours and gain a lot of content, a lot of value around like just how to like approach their lawn care program. As far as where you can get it, it's up here at the golfcourselawn.com. You can see like the intro that I have there, and I talk a little bit more about it in detail there. But yeah, it's a program that I put together over this past fall and into the springtime. And really proud of it. Still need to add some more content to it. I need to get the top dressing videos into there. Something I needed to make some time and get that done. And it's going to continue. I'm going to continue to add to it. So pretty much, when you buy it once, you own it forever. So as long as I'm around, as long as the internet's still around, and you're going to have access to it. So it's like buy once and you own it forever. And you also gain access to the private Facebook group, which is kind of fun. It's a cool group where you see some behind the scenes stuff, and everybody helps each other out. We talk about just lawn care stuff in a private forum. So you also gain access to that as well. So there's lots of benefits to it. And I've not had any not really any negative feedback. People that have been in it have really, really enjoyed it and gotten really good results with it. So hopefully that helps. Don't want to be too salesy, but yeah, I'm proud of it, and people that have been using it have gotten good results out of it as well. So hopefully that helps. All right, so next up we got Walter Butrego about a cost-efficient reel mower. What is the most cost-efficient reel mower? Okay, so it depends on Walter. If you want the most cost-efficient way to get into a reel mowing is to go with a manual push reel mower. You can get a good result with those. You can get a great looking lawn. I think better than a rotary mower will do on warm season grass with a push reel mower if you have good technique. So that's the most efficient, or that's the least inexpensive way. For $200 you can get something that's gonna serve you pretty well. Once we step into the powered reel mower realm, right? So like you want something like that's gonna create a lawn that looks. You want your lawn, in other words, to look like that. If that's what you're after, if you want to look like that, you're gonna need a powered reel mower for that, because the reel just spins a lot faster, so your clip rate is better. It's just gonna produce a tighter cut. So when it comes to that, $650 to $700 is about the price of admission. That's because for that price you can get like a pre-owned True Cut. That's what Daryl did. The image that I just sent you there of that lawn, that was Daryl's lawn, and he got like a pre-owned True Cut for, I don't know, I think he paid like $700 for it or something like that. Something that looks like that. You can pick up something like that, pretty used inexpensively. And then from there you're set. Like, once you get that, you get it serviced, you make sure that it's nice and sharp, that the reel and bed knife are in good order, that the mower is tuned up properly, that all the tolerances are set properly, you're good to go. And I'd say for a powered reel mower, that's probably the most cost efficient way to get into it. If you're trying to really go up a notch, like you're looking for the best possible cut, then you can step into greens mowers, but really the price of admission for one of those is more closer to the $2,000 price range. You can get them cheaper than that. You can find deals cheaper than that, but then those tend to be mowers that need some work. For something you're going to be able to get that's going to be well set up, and you're just going to take it home, cut with it. It's going to serve you well. Not going to have any issues with it for the most part. For a greens mower, you're talking like $2,000, and then the sky's the limit from there. But to start in a reel mower that I really like and I think is a great mower, well built, will last you a long time, like a True Cut, a pre-owned True Cut, you can get in that $700 to $1,000 price range, and that's going to serve you well. So you get different options, all the way from like $200 on a manual reel mower, all the way up to the sky's the limit to whatever you want to spend on a greens mower. So hopefully that helps answer your question. Jay King is saying he just laid five pallets of Tiff Tough Solo. This is Sparta. I bet, man. That's not fun. That's right up there with like top dressing and aerating your lawn. That's never fun. Okay, David West has a question. He has a fungus problem in his lawn. He says, "Hey Ron, hope you have a great 4th of July. Hope you too, sir. Hey, I noticed a few areas of our lawn that have been affected by fungi, brown patch. Can you recommend a treatment that is safe for dogs?" Yeah. So what I would go with, so there's an inexpensive option, but there's also the one that I would say just go get this one. So there's two granular fungicides I would recommend, David. There's Heritage G, which only has one active ingredient, azoxystrobin, and then there's Headway G, which has two, which is propiconazole and azoxystrobin. I would go with Headway G. When you apply it at the curative rate for brown patch, I'm not sure what that is off the top of my head. I think it's going to be over 2 pounds per 1,000 square feet. When you apply it at that rate, at that curative rate, all it's going to be spelled out on the label. When you apply it at that rate, and you water it in, then you're fine. You're good to go. So you could say tomorrow, say you had a bag, we could magically teleport a bag of Headway G to your garage tonight, and you were going to put it down tomorrow morning. What I would do is I'd put it down, water it in really heavily, or even better, wait till it's going to rain heavily. Put it down, get it watered in nicely so it activates. And then the following day, once the grass is dry, you're safe for the fur babies to re-enter the lawn. So as long as you put it down at the recommended rate, you're not going to have any issues with it. Let me send this to you Here, yeah, and that's true. That's true for any fungicide, as long as it's applied at the proper rate and you allow it to be, and you water it in and you allow it to dry. Once it's dry, once the grass is dry, it's safe for pets, for kids, for anyone to re-enter. As long as it's labeled for residential use, you're good to go. As long as you follow the label, as long as you follow that rate. Hopefully that helps. This time of year, this is the time of year for like brown patch. Unfortunately, it's getting hot and humid. So, but yeah, get that down. That will stop. It'll stop the fungus where it is now. It's going to kill it and stop it, and it's going to allow the grass to heal. So if you were to get some down, say by the end of next week, so you ordered some, you got it down like sometime next week. Within 2 weeks, you should start seeing the lawn recovering and starting to look a little bit better once the grass grows in those areas that was damaged by the brown patch. Sorry you're dealing with that, but there are ways forward. There's ways forward, and that product I was mentioning to you, Headway G, is what I would go with. Okay, so we have a question here now from Ryan Byers. He says, "Hey Ron, just pull the tree out of my front yard and fill the hole with mason sand." Okay, okay, all right. Well, it's already done. He says, "Any recommendations on how to accelerate the push for Bermuda to cover that spot?" So here's the thing, Ryan. I wouldn't have necessarily filled if it were me, I would not have filled the entire thing, the entire cavity with mason sand. I would have used either like the soil that's like just topsoil, like what you've got in the area, or I would have used like a 70-30 mix. What I might do, because the thing is with mason sand is, I mean, the Bermuda will eventually run and will cover it. But if you want to speed it up a little bit, what you can do is, and it's going to be kind of a pain, but if you can scrape away just a little bit, like, I don't know, a half inch of that mason sand, and go out and grab yourself some carbonized PN. If you got like a Site 1 nearby, go out and get some carbonized PN, and do a blend, mix it. Take that carbonized PN and either do like a 50-50 mix with some mason sand, or just put 100% carbonized PN over that area. That stuff, as far as like incredibly rich organic material that's going to help, like that, it's going to help the grass to grow, and is also not going to get so crazy hot that it might also, heat is good for Bermuda, but too much heat might actually could cause problems as far as the grass filling in if it's a really, really big area. So I would introduce something like some organic material to that as well. I don't know how big of an area we're talking about here. You said it was a tree. I mean, if it's an area like this, no big deal. If you're talking about an area that's like 8-9 feet wide, like it was a really big tree, along with the root system, I would probably do something organic on top of that to help promote the grass running in there as well. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Good job of getting the tree out. I'm sure it was a huge project, but if we can get like a nice blend, some organic material in addition to what you've already done, that should help promote the Bermuda to run in there. It's going to take some time, but it will eventually fill in. What you can also do too is if you can have like a plugger. If the area is bigger, if you can transport plugs from other parts of the lawn into that section where the tree was, that's also going to help the Bermuda to spread too. Because now, instead of like it being an island where the Bermuda's got to start on one side and run across, now we're attacking the problem from multiple ways, right? You've got like the Bermuda that's on the perimeter that's got to run in, but then we put plugs in inside the like little island, and the Bermuda there, once it roots and starts growing, it will start growing out. So you'll have grass growing towards it and grass growing out from where the cavity was. But if you're going to do that, I would not plant it in 100% masonry sand. I would get some kind of a organic material and mix it in with that, and then transport plugs into that area, because that's just going to help the grass do better. Great question. It's a good one. Sorry you're dealing with a big hole in your lawn right now, but at least it's for a good reason, right? The lawn's going to look even better with the tree gone. Okay, Patrick in Texas says, "I have some areas in my lawn that is struggling, kind of looks purplish. Any ideas?" Not without pictures. I'm not sure, Patrick. If you can send me a picture of it, I can take a look. Send it to ron@golfcourselawn.com. I realize it's probably dark there now, but if you take a picture tomorrow, whenever you get a chance, send me a picture of the areas that you're talking about, and I'll take a look at it. It could be too much iron. It could be fungus. It could be a couple of different things. So without seeing a picture, it's hard to tell you for sure what I would recommend that you do. But send me an email here, and I'll do my best to help you out. All right. Let's see. Clayton says, "I use Spectricide for the little white lawn bugs as well. No effect." Try out Acelepryn, guys. You may have to. I'm not sure. You may have to step up to something a little bit stronger. I think there's so what Acelepryn I think will kill is not necessarily the bugs if they're actively there, but it'll kill the larva of, I think it's like it might be chinch bugs you're talking about, before, so they won't hatch. In other words, the ones that you have now you're gonna have to deal with, but you won't have any new ones. And a celloprene will work well for that. I've got it here in the chat somewhere that you can look it up there, Clayton. That could be something you could try as well, because it's a great product. Works as it's a broad spectrum insecticide that works really, really well in lawns. Okay, so Bush to Kush has a question when it comes to mowing, my mowing routine. You asked me to see all these private questions, man, all these private questions. He says, hey Ron, what's your mowing routine from start to finish, and how long does it normally take you to service your lawn from start to finish, i.e. cut, fertilize, spray, etc.? Okay, so I don't do all those things typically on one day. If I just mow, I can mow the entire lawn in about an hour, just under an hour, if all I'm doing is mowing. If I decide I'm going to edge the lawn, so for a good example, so today, my mowing routine was I mowed the front lawn, and then I broke out the string trimmer. I edged around the mailbox. I edged around some areas that I just can't get with the mowers. And then I put the stick edger on, and then I did that, and I also edged the patio. And then I went around and mowed the entire back lawn. I don't know why I did the front lawn first before I could have just edged first before I even started mowing, but I just really want to get my mow started. I just was itching to mow. But I got all the edging done, all the edge work done, and then I mowed the entire back lawn, and then I blew off everything, blew off all the hard surfaces, so the sidewalks, patios, I blew all that off, blew it all back into the lawn. And because not much came off, I didn't have to do a cleanup pass. Sometimes if like if a big chunk of dirt comes out or something, some bigger clippings come out, I will still go back and take the mower out again after I edge and blow everything off and go do a cleanup pass just to kind of to make it look as fresh as I possibly can. I didn't have to do that today. But yeah, an hour is typically what it takes, hour 15, hour 20 if I add trimming or edging to it. When it comes to spraying the entire lawn takes, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes. That doesn't take very long. So I normally do that separate from a mowing day, and then fertilization like 15 minutes. It takes more time to get the, well, not to take more time, but it's however long it takes me to walk the entire lawn, to get the spreader out, get the fertilizer out, throw it in there, make sure everything's set up properly, and then do it, and then blow it all off. So to apply the fertilizer and blow off any fertilizer that got onto the sidewalk and driveway, like 15 minutes. Doesn't take that long at all. So hopefully that helps answer your question. And LG says mix the ferrous sulfate with some ammonium sulfate and you're good to go. So there you go. Adrian Fraser, LG is in the house, and he hath spoken. So there you go. That should help. And then Sean just says T-Nex. Yeah, I like it. It's good stuff. I like that PGR. It's good stuff. Okay, and then Alex B is in is coming up here, and it says, hey Ron, this is hugely impressed with your golf course lawn store, Ron. Anything I have tried yielded great results for me so far, and look forward to trying more products, high quality stuff that goes surprisingly a long way. That's the idea, man. I mean, I wanted to give you guys the same stuff that I put on my lawn. Like last year, believe it or not, I caught a lot of flack because like a lot of the products I was using, you couldn't get them online. They weren't easy to come by. So in the off season, in addition to putting together the Golf Course Lawn Academy, I said, you know what? I'm going to fix this. I'm not going to make next year. It's not going to be a sitting thing where anybody is going to be able to say that, the stuff you're using on your lawn is really cool because you're using all this cool stuff that nobody else can get. I made sure that when I did the academy, like what's in there as far as fertilizers, as far as like the carbon kit, as far as liquid and granular fertilizers, I want to make sure they're all available to as many people as possible. And this is stuff that I use. Like literally, there's nothing in there that I wouldn't put on my lawn. I mean, outside of like, there's like a sodium reducer that's in there because we don't have like salts on our lawns here in Georgia. But outside of that, like the stuff that's in the golf course lawn store is stuff that I believe in. I don't have to put I can put anything I want on my lawn for the most part. So I only put the stuff on there that I like and really believe in. That's good. That's great quality. And I wanted to make, the whole reason behind the store was to make what I use available to you guys. So you guys can use the exact same stuff that I use. And if you follow the same, like the other things that I tell you to do a lot of, which is mowing primarily, you can get results that look like that, So that's the result of lots of mowing and the products in the golf course lawn store, and just a lot of diligence, So I'm glad, Alex, I'm glad that that you're getting great results. And you are right, like some of the application rates when you look at them, they're low compared to some other liquid products that are in the market, but that's by design. Like it's very potent stuff. Like when you take the cap off of Release Zero, It's strong, man. It's really zero NutriKelp. You don't think that it's not watered down stuff, man. It's very, very potent. So very little goes a long way. But I'm glad you're getting great results. Thank you so much for your trust and for again for your trust and just taking the time to let me know that you're getting good results with the products. Great stuff. Okay, Andy Velarde says, what is your watering schedule during the growing months versus non-growing months? During the non-growing months, like the dormancy period, I don't really water the lawn because it's dormant. During the growing season, my normal watering is twice per week. So my irrigation is set up to run on Monday and Thursday for the front lawn. Because I have pretty high water pressure, I don't have to run it terribly long. But for the front lawn, because it's a slope and it can't hold that much water, it runs for 10 minutes. That's what I tend to get. A 10-minute run is what I have it set up for. And then the back lawn zones are 20 minutes each. No, that's not true. It's 20, 20, 25, the last one in the back, and then the one along the side, because also there's an issue with runoff there for the swale. That one is 12 minutes, I think. I have to look on my phone. I think it's 12 minutes. But that's twice a week, and that tends to work pretty well. If it's super, and if we get rain, I don't have to do it as much. But I mean, like this week also, because I'm pushing. I want the lawn to look really nice for tomorrow. Because got company coming over. I have been watering more, but my normal watering schedule is like twice per week. So that works pretty well. When combined with products like Hydrotain to kind of retain moisture, we're getting a really good result. Hopefully that helps. But yeah, during the off season, I don't do that. Don't water, no point. Okay, and Alex B says one bag of $70 Humic Max has replaced 6 or 7 bags of Milo. That would cost over $100, and Humic Max is far superior in every way. Can't see myself going back to any of the big box stuff. Yeah, man. Here's the thing: when you step into Humic Max, the products from Lebanon Turf, you're stepping into the big boy fertilizers. You're stepping into the big boy, big girl, like the professional turf fertilizers. You know what I mean? Again, it took like almost an act of Congress to get them to agree to even sell the stuff to us. You know what I mean? It's like because they primarily deal with the professional turf industry. They don't really need, I guess, home lawn care. Hopefully, we sell enough of it, they'll start to see that it's that these guys are serious and they'll allow more to be available. But it's just a different class of fertilizer, man. It's like the methylene urea, the slow release urea, that's the homogeneous prill that Lebanon uses is really good. Like the prill size, like you look at that, that stuff is going to get down into any canopy. Look how fine that is. As far as like you putting down fertilizer and having it sit on top of the canopy or on top of the turf, not going to be a problem with Humic Max. So it's a great product, but unfortunately shipping anything that's granular is expensive. Shipping that's what a lot of the cost of it is, but it's a great product. I haven't had anyone that's bought it that's not had a great result. So I'm glad that you are loving it, Alex B. Thank you so much for letting me know. Got a super chat here from the man, the myth, the legend, LG.
Super chat received.
He says, I don't think your tiger stripe video was cringe worthy. Yeah, no, some of my videos are some of my older videos, some of my older content is pretty bad, man. It's like, cause I wasn't very good at video. Some people might say I'm not good at video now, but I was less bad. I was even worse than I am now at video, several years ago. So, but yeah, it's the message was there, which I guess was good enough for you guys to keep watching and for the content to get better. And I've gotten better over the years. So I appreciate it, LG. I appreciate you guys. All right. Will Dog, another, Turfplex, testimonial. Says Turfplex has brought color out I haven't seen before in 3 years of owning my Tifway 419 lawn. Oh, and we beat Vanderbilt 9-0 for the NCAA basketball title. That's awesome. Congrats to Vanderbilt. Congrats on winning, man. And I'm glad that you're getting good results with Turfplex. I've seen the same thing, man. I was using Brandt Supreme Green before. Great product, but it's just hard to get it. Like even the local places that were carrying it before, they don't even carry it anymore. So again, going back to that mantra of this season, anything I put on my lawn, you guys are going to be able to get your hands on. I reached out to a college L and talked to Jim. I think his name is Jim Spindler. Like their agronomist, they're the guy that mixes up the formulations, and spoke to him about it. He told me about the history of the products, like where they came from, everything that goes into them. And I've had nothing but awesome results with it. So it's a really, really good product. It's like I can't say enough good about it. So I'm glad that you're also seeing the same thing, Will Dog, and great stuff. All right. Take a sip here of out of the official live stream cup. Doug M has a question. He says, where can we get the Ron Henry official live stream mug for enjoying our lemonade on Friday night live stream? So he's talking about the official live stream cup here to get my eyes out of it. So this is one that Josh Habib put together for me. He's got Ron Henry on one side and then official live stream cup on the other side. I think this is one of one right now, Doug. I think Josh may have one. I'm not sure if he made one for himself. But I'll ask him. I mean, Josh controls this. He's the one that he makes all this stuff up for me. A lot of I mean, I can't dress myself. I mean, he saw what I was doing and was like saying, you know what? I got to step in. Ron is he's too basic. He's got to step his game up. So he's helped me out with this. I'll ask him and see if the cups are something that he wants to make available or do something with. We can see about that. But right now they're not currently available. There's this. There's also, I can't show you that, so I can grab it. There's also the coffee mug. There's also this one that we started with, which is like the nothing on the back. And we started with this like for coffee, but this was a little bit too small, so went with something bigger. So we'll see if making either one of these are available for people that actually want it. And on that note, if you guys wouldn't mind touching the like button ever so gently, there's 100 of you guys in here. I know some of you come in. I know we're a little bit late. We're about to do the giveaway now. I'll tell you guys what you need to do for the giveaway here in a second. You want to touch the like button ever so gently. It's free for you guys. Great way to support the channel, and I would really appreciate it. While I take a sip of my lemonade. All right, let's see. He says, may as well recommend your Primo lemonade recipe too. My lemonade recipe is pretty basic, man. It's like Publix lemonade and water, because I don't like things that are too sweet. So literally it's like half water, half lemonade. So that's what it is. It's not even like full lemonade. It's like half and half. That's what I use. The only lemonade that I don't water down is Chick-fil-A lemonade, because if you live in Georgia, people will be like, oh, that's the Lord's lemonade. You can't be watering down Chick-fil-A. Kind of like, anytime I talk about like Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, I get like hate mail for that one. So Chick-fil-A lemonade is the only one that I drink absolutely straight. I don't touch it, don't mess with it. But like other ones, I water down. Okay, Latif Sharma has a question about nutsedge. It says, hey, I have nutsedge in my lawn. What should I do? That would be very grateful. Love and support from India. That's awesome. Thanks for reaching all the way across the pond, Lalit. Here's the issue we're going to run into. Anything that I recommend, I don't know if you're going to be able to get it in India. For nutsedge, there's a product called Sedgehammer. That's good. There's a product called Image, also called Image, that is good for nutsedge, but I don't know that you're going to be able to get any of those in India. What you might want to do, let me see here. I think both of those are available on Amazon. So let me see, Sedgehammer herbicide. I think they are. So what we can do is we can try this, right? What you can try is if there's an Amazon in India, I'm not sure if it's Amazon. I'm not sure what the India country code is, but whatever India's country code is, I'm sure there's an Amazon in India, I would think. If there is, or there probably is, I would go there and I would look for this product. Let me see if I can show you here in the chat. All right, so I don't know if it's going to be available for shipment there, but your best bet for getting the herbicides that we use here stateside would be to go to Amazon in India and search for one called Sedgehammer. You see this is a Sedgehammer herbicide right up here. Search for that. What you're going to do with that is, if they have it available, get that. That's a great option for killing sedges. As well, on top of that, there's also a herbicide called Image. I'm not sure if it's available here. So this guy, this is also very good for killing nutsedge. These two, so those two together, Sedgehammer and Image, those two make a good 1-2 punch that will absolutely eliminate nutsedge. We'll kill it anyway. We'll knock it back really strongly. As far as like natural things you can do to kind of to help with nutsedge, if there's any parts of your lawn where there's water settling. So the thing with nutsedge is it tends to like wet areas of your lawn. So if you've got an area of your lawn that's damp or wet, see if there's things you can do about like improving the drainage so that water doesn't settle. That can help with it some. But outside of that, like picking up your mowing frequency, mowing the lawn a little bit shorter, it's going to make the nutsedge a little bit less apparent to visually anyway. But then outside of that, Sedgehammer and Image stateside, that over here, that's what I would recommend. If you can get that in India, that is what I would go with. Or see if there's any, any stores or shops that sell herbicides in India and see what they would recommend for nutsedge, what you can get locally. So the biggest problem is not so much how to kill it, is just getting you the stuff that we use here over there. So, but that's awesome, man. You are the first viewer that I know of anyway from India that's chimed in the live stream. So that is awesome. Thank you so much. I'm gonna give you an applause for that. Thank you for being the first. That's pretty cool. And I appreciate you. Appreciate all the love and support. Thanks so much. Hopefully that was helpful. Alex B saying, yeah, thanks for the content and have a great 4th of July. And then SMK's LOLing says, LOL, that was a measuring, nope, wrong here. That was a measuring cup given to me by a vendor at a scientific meeting. I have become interested in studying noxious weeds in the Southeast, so going to try various combos and share. Very cool, SMK. That is a topic that only you could do. That is something that's definitely right in your wheelhouse, sir. So definitely make sure you document it. I know you're a scientist, so document it. Share your research. Let me know. And if you want me to publish any of it or talk about any of it, or if you want to come on the live stream and talk about some of it, let me know. We'll make it happen. We'll get you on here for an hour or however long you want to be on, and you can share your research. I think people will probably get a kick out of it, right? Should be really, really good. Neon has a question. He says, hey, Ron, how long does Nutra... I'm not sure what you're probably asking. Okay, actually, here we go. Neon, back here. Hey, Ron, how long does it take for Nutra... I think you mean Nutrizolve. Nutrizolve to get the grass greener. I had a Turfplex as well. I also put down Arden 15. How much watering is needed daily? Okay, so that question will unpack it bit by bit. The Nutrizolve and Turfplex, 2 to 3 days. 2 to 3 days is when you'll start seeing a color response in the grass. So fairly quickly. And then as far as Arden 15, I've got a video on that. It's going to be really for most people every day, 3 times a day for 3 weeks. So a lot of water. Get ready to have a very expensive water bill is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that thing that answers both your questions. Turfplex, a couple days, and then Arden 15, just water, and water some more. That will do it. Okay, so Pablo's Low's got a problem that's common this time of year. So I got a sudden outbreak and huge outbreak of spurge in about a quarter of my backyard. Oh man, that stinks. I'm sorry about that. I didn't see spurge listed on the bottle of Spectracide I have. Any recommendations that's safe in these temps? Bermuda in Birmingham. Spectracide. I thought Spectracide is labeled for spurge. I think it is. I think it is labeled for spurge. I'm not sure which one you have, which one you're looking at there, a Papamo's Low, but it should be labeled for it, I think. I want to say that's on there. Yeah, so here we go. Let's cut over. So this is the label for Spectracide. I just did a search on spurge, and it's got 4 hits, and it's got garden spurge, leafy spurge, and prostrate spurge, which is probably the one that you have in your lawn. That's probably the one that you're dealing with. Wait, there we go. Got it there. So scrolled up. So yeah, so that should work for it. That is probably the mildest way to go about it as far as getting rid of the spurge. Now, as far as temps, when you can apply that one, and what I'm showing you here, Papamo's Low, in case I didn't show you earlier, is this guy. That's the one I'm showing you, the orange label bottle. So you can only apply that when temps are between 45 and 90 degrees. So really, once you get closer to 90, you want to be careful with applying that to your lawn, because it's not going to kill the Bermuda, but it can damage it. It can, cause it, it can stress it overly so. But that will work. What I have used as a concoction for spurge was Dismiss and Speed Zone. But that is like dropping, hitting spurge with a sledgehammer. That will absolutely kill it, but it is going to yellow your lawn. It's a little bit past bronzing. It's going to look like mild fertilizer burn when you use a Dismiss and Speed Zone combo. It's going to absolutely smoke the spurge out. It's going to be gone. You're not going to have spurge problems anymore. But your lawn's gonna look a little bit ugly for a week if you decide to go that route. I would give Spectracide a shot. I'm not sure if you tried the orange label bottle, because that one does take care of spurge, and it's probably the mildest of anything I could recommend to get rid of it. Anything else is gonna be you're gonna be trading getting rid of the weeds for some yellowing, and with you taking up a quarter of your lawn, you want to get on top of that. You really do. So let's go with that orange bottle. Let's see what that orange label does, and if you try that this weekend or Monday or so, and if in a week you're not seeing any kind of results, it's not like it's starting to hate life, then we can go to something a little heavier. But let's start light first before we bring out like the big guns. That is what I would do. Great question. Sorry you're dealing with it, but there is a way. We will solve this problem together, you and me. We're gonna figure a path through this. All right, Rico Montgomery says, I know it's July. How late would it be to top dress, aerate, and overseed? You can do all of those things now if you still want to. Overseeding, again, I know a lot of you guys are really pushing to overseed your lawns, but keep in mind, the main reason why I overseeded mine is because when I had some sod put into it, the sod just didn't match. It was supposed to be Tifway, and it doesn't match, and it still doesn't match. Like the only spot on my lawn right now where you can really, it kind of sticks out like an eyesore is that sod that was put in, that was supposed to be Tifway 419. but really wasn't. Or it was a different blend or a different cousin of Tifway 419. Just the colors doesn't match the one that's in my lawn, all right? So that's what caused me to go and overseed my lawn with Arden 15. But realize what you're getting into, like everything else you said there, like top dress aerating, no problem, go for it. If you decide you're going to overseed your lawn with Arden 15, know that it's going to be, I mean, unless you really do a really, really, really good job, it's going to be a long process. It's probably going to be more than a year. You're probably going to be doing it this year and probably doing it again next year. And it's going to be very expensive. Like the seed itself is very expensive. And then also the amount of water you have to use, that's the real cost associated with it, right? Like the seed, a 25-pound bag of Arden 15 is like $400, a little over $400. But the watering requirements is what's going to get you, because you have to water every day, 3 times a day for 3 weeks. So if you just think about that, you absolutely cannot allow the soil to dry out for like 3 weeks. It's like if your lawn was rained on for 3 weeks, that's what you have to recreate with your irrigation system. So it's going to be expensive to do. But as far as, is it too late to do it? No, you can do all 3 of those things right now. The soil temps are where they need to be for germination. Shouldn't be a problem at all, but you can do all of those right now in July. No problem whatsoever. As far as top dressing, the latest I would top dress a lawn in this area, like, Georgia, would be the first or second week of August. Assuming we don't have like a crazy, like a cool summer where it ends earlier. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, but the first second week of August is the latest I would probably go as far as top dressing. And as far as overseeding, if you're going to do that, the sooner you do it, the better, because it's going to give you more time for the grass to grow in, get rooted, get established, so that when the fall hits, it's going to be as healthy as possible to to tolerate the winter, this winter that's going to be coming up. So if you're going to overseed, do it sooner than later. If you're going to top dress, you got all the way until like late July, early August to do it. No problem at all. Great question. You're very, very welcome, David West. Headway G, yep, no problem. Go with that. No problem at all. And then Jamar says, how is your lawn recovering from the sprinkler head repairs? Actually, really good. And actually, you know what? That's a perfect a question to answer tomorrow morning in the YouTube stories. If you look at my YouTube stories tomorrow morning, Jamar, I will go around. I'll show you the spot in the front for the irrigation repair, and I'll show you the areas in the back where the sprinkler heads were replaced. They're all looking really good. There's 2 when I mow over it, you can see where it is. If I go show you, I'll show you the spot, but it's grown in really quickly because it's Bermuda. It's Bermuda and it's hot and it's getting mowed a lot, and it's bounced back really, really quickly. So yeah. Let's see what other questions we got here. So Nyan is saying, should you backlap your real blades every month? I don't find that to be necessary, Nyan. If you're mainly cutting grass with it, you really shouldn't have to. But I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. If you want to do that, you can. What I tend to do with my Greensmaster is every 2 to 3 mows, I'll go out and I'll check to make sure that it's still cutting paper, and then I'll make an adjustment on the bed bar adjustment screws. I may have to go in like a click on each side, and I'm good to go. And then if I do that, if I adjust the bed bar, if I adjust the tolerance between the reel and the bed knife, and it's still not cutting paper even after doing that, that's when I know it's time to take the mower in and get it serviced. I don't really backlap my Greensmaster. I just take, if it's not cutting anymore, not cutting paper anymore, just take it into the guys at Jerry Pate, and they can normally get me in pretty quickly and turn it around, and I get it back pretty quick. So yeah, every month, if you have a backlapping kit and you want to do it, it's not going to hurt anything. Certainly not going to hurt anything to do it. But is it absolutely strictly necessary? If you're only cutting grass, no, should not be. All right, Lon to Learn is saying, gone 3/4 of an inch on my Celebration Bermuda. So far, so good. Maybe my GM, maybe my sweet spot, GM3 1000. That's awesome. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. And it says, Ron, have you ever seen Paspalum? Thoughts? It's an amazing turf type. No, I haven't. Not in person. I've never seen it, so I don't know. I can't speak to that one. I'll have to go look it up, though. I'll make a note here about it so I can go look at it and see if I can find some pictures of it or video of it online on the YouTubes and stuff. And Papa Mo's Low is chiming in. Actually, I think it was Papa Mo's Low. One of you guys, I'm not sure it was Papa Mo's Low, but someone in the live stream a couple of weeks ago was saying they want to get rid of their existing grass and replace it with Paspalum. I'm saying in Tourist Park. He says it only requires 1 pound of N per year, salt tolerant, so weeds can be treated directly with salt. Hard to get. Very cool. Yeah, sounds like a cool grass, like a very boutique grass to have in your lawn. Sounds kind of cool. Very, very nice. And then SMK is chiming in. He says those little white insects are whiteflies. They are sapsuckers, but generally harmless. If there are too many, they target the adults by misting with bifenthrin. You can kill the larvae by the fine spray of temperate. So there you go. Man, the man of the hour has come in to save the day once again. Thank you, SMK. Appreciate that so much. Thanks so much. Very, very good. And Nyan. So Josh, if you're watching this, we got a couple of votes for the cup, man. People want the cup. So Nyan wants one, and then Alex is saying major props on how well you handle the slope in your front yard. I helped my neighbor out with his, and getting a great mow, but seeding can be a bit of a challenge. Yeah, man. Well, no worries, man. I mean, that's the one I've got, so I've got to make the best of it, right? And yeah, I enjoy working on it, and it's cool. It's cool because there's a lot of you guys that have the same problem, right? A lot of you guys have a sloped front lawn or a slope of some sort, and you know, it's one of those things where you know, it's good, it's fun, it's cool that I have a YouTube channel and that I top dress it and I fertilize it and I show you, like, you know, good techniques for getting a good result on a piece of turf that's a little more challenging than just a standard flat lawn, right? So yeah, I appreciate you guys watching that. All right. SMK saying granular not so helpful or effective on microscopic pets. So he's saying you should spray it. So I would go with what SMK saying. Thanks for chiming in, SMK. And then Manuel Alvarez says, love the live stream and videos. Thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. All right. I'm going to see what other questions we have. It's almost time for us to start talking about the giveaway, guys. The giveaway is actually very simple to enter it. Makes it super easy for you guys. I'm going to tell you guys here in a second, so before I get into the other questions. So Rohan Mistry has a question here. He says, hey, Ron, was traveling to and let my lawn grow uncut to 1.25 inches. I ended up doing a hard cut at 1/2 inch, which is my normal cutting height. Should I have cut to 0.4 of an inch and let it grow to 1/2 inch? Not, I mean, you're splitting hairs. It doesn't, yes, yeah, it would have been better to go a little bit lower than the height of cut that you want to maintain it at, but it's gonna be fine, man. It's gonna be fine. If you want to go out and cut it again, I mean, to take off another 1/10, you can. But the fact that you went from 1/4 to 1.25 down to 1/2, what it's growing in is going to be green. So yeah, it is always better to get a little bit below the height of cut where you tend to maintain it, but you should be just fine. Should be just fine. How long were you gone for you to get 1.25 inches, man? That's a pretty big jump. Pretty big jump. We need to get some PGR in your life, sir. We need to get you on that PGR train. Yeah. Okay, and then Manuel Alvarez says, does image kill Dallas grass? No, it does not. It does not kill Dallas. Very few things kill Dallas grass, or very few herbicides that you can use on residential lawns kill Dallas grass. That's probably the best way to say it. The best way to get rid of Dallas grass in a residential lawn is just to dig it out, unfortunately, Manuel. Yeah, just dig it out. Anything else that you put down will suppress it. That's the key word. It will suppress it or control it. But you're not gonna get rid of it using any herbicides that are rated, or not that I know of anyway, that are rated for home lawns, rated for residential lawns. So your best bet, if you only got like a few small areas of it, is just to dig it out, like physically remove it from the lawn, and that will work well. And Andy's giving me a lemonade recommendation. He says, try Milo's lemonade. You can find it at Publix or Walmart. I'll give it a shot, man. I'll have to give it a shot. You trying to get me on that premium lemonade train, man? Trying to get me to go for that. And then question now next is about G-Free. Says, is Headway G available in your golf course lawn store? Didn't see it. No, it's not G-Free, but you can get it here. If you can get it at Site One, but if you feel like supporting me, this is an affiliate link. So if you guys use this link, I earn a very small commission on it. So if you do that, G-Free, that's a way for you to get Headway G and also support the channel if you're so inclined. I appreciate it. Appreciate you asking, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, Leo Garcia says, hey, Ron, now with the heat in Texas, every time I mow the lawn, it yellows a little bit. What can I do to avoid it? You have two choices. You can either mow taller or mow more frequently. So the yellowing you're seeing is from, I'm thinking you're probably not mowing often enough for the height of cut that you're at, Leo. And what that's causing is for you to getting into a little bit of that stalk. So you're getting away from the nice green foliage that's up nice and tall and makes the lawn look green. You're getting into that stalk area, and that's what looks brown. Or you're cutting into that more than you should be, right? And the way around that is either twofold. You either start mowing the lawn taller, so you're cutting off you're gonna have more green on the lawn, or mow more frequently. So it's one of those two. It's either or. It's either like start mowing more often, add like one more mow per week to your mowing schedule if you can. That'll probably help quite a bit. Or mow the lawn taller. My vote would be to mow more frequently than mow taller, but it all depends on your schedule. So hope that helps. Alex has a question for me about aeration. He says, Ron, do you ever change up the type of aeration? No, not really. He says, I hire out the aeration by not having that equipment. I do core aeration twice a season, beginning and end, and I usually spike aeration in the summer. I've never really mixed it up. So no, it's always been core. It's always been hollow tine aeration, not the spike. I've never tried the spike. I'm not sure. It's a good question. It'd be cool to try it out sometime, but I've never actually done that. I've always just used the core, the hollow core aeration, Alex B. Something for me to look into and maybe give a go at some point. All right. Andy has a question about his broadcast spreader, about burping the broadcast spreader. I'm not sure. First time I've heard that term. He says, is there anything you can do for a fertilizer? Oh, burn. That's what it is. Is there anything you can do for a fertilizer burn with a broadcast spreader? I have one spot about 8 inches in diameter where I hit a bump with the spreader and dumped a clump of fert on the Bermuda. Not really, man. If it's already burnt, if you're already seeing it, it's too late. What you can do is get some, like a little bit of compost or like some carbonized PN, and if you can put like a little bit on that area, like a little very small spot top, just that one little area, that's going to help the grass grow back a little bit sooner. But really, it's just going to be time. Like fertilizer burn is one of those things that it's just time. Like I've got a video of me doing a burn of my lawn, probably worse than what you did, of a nasty fertilizer burn. I might be able to pull it up and send it to you here. And it was just time. It was just time. So that's going to be your best bet. We water the area, but yeah, this is going to be. I'll send you the video right here. There's like 3 videos. Like part one. Actually, it's 3. Yeah, 3. First one I talk about the horror of me actually burning my lawn, and then part 1 and part 2 where I show an update of it. But the long and short of it, if you want the answer and you don't feel like watching the video, is just to wait. Like a little bit of organic material, water it, increase your mowing. That's gonna also encourage, in addition to the grass growing back through the top that got burned, grass that's surrounding it to grow into it. Because it's only 8 inches, it shouldn't take that long to recover. But if you're interested in seeing that video, and you want a good laugh and of hearing me like cry out, you can watch that video on me burning my lawn. The similar way that you did. In my case, I think it was because I didn't close the hopper off completely, and I refilled the broadcast spreader on the lawn. So that's a tip. You didn't ask about that, but like that's one thing don't ever do. Don't ever refill your broadcast spreader on the lawn. Don't do that. Unless you're using Milo. Milo, you can probably get away with it, but anything else other than like Milorganite, don't do it on the lawn. So do it on concrete for the reasons you're going to see in that video. All right, we're almost there, guys. It says happy 4th of July. You finally made it. Can I apply PGR with those strips of sod I added to the trenches? I went on vacation. I feel like I need a cut reset because it's too long for my liking, around 1¼ inch. Yeah, I mean, if the grass is established and you want to put some PGR on it, go for it, Zach. Should be no problem at all. Follow the rate. Follow the label. Follow the label. Literally, if you have a 4-gallon backpack sprayer, you're going to put in an ounce of PGR with 4 gallons of water. The rate is a quarter of an ounce for Bermuda anyway. The rate for Bermuda is a quarter of an ounce per 1,000 square feet. So that means a cup like this, which looks really big, right? Like that cup, for 4 gallons covering 4,000 square feet, you're only going to put in 1 ounce. So that very first line right there, that's all. That's all the PGR you're putting in to cover, 4,000 square feet. That's it. So it's a quarter of an ounce, it's not very much. It's a very small amount, goes a long way with PGR, and it's very, very effective. Very effective. Okay, very cool, guys. Okay, so let's talk about some of the giveaway items. So, giveaway items that we're going to be doing, that we're going to announce the winner next week. So so here are the rules of the giveaway. You have to be present to win next week. Whenever I pick the winner, you got to be here in the live stream. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to whenever I announce it and say, yeah, hey, I'm here. So you have to be present to win. And then in the comments, you have to leave a comment, because that's how the tool that I use works. You have to leave a comment, and you're going to have to tell me, what are your plans for the rest of this season for your lawn? It could be, I've got everything I want to do this season. I'm just going to keep mowing it and just enjoying the stripe action. It could be you're planning a top dress, but the comment ideally has to be around some project, something you're doing in your lawn for the remainder of this season. So when this video finishes and you guys want to start adding comments to it, that's going to be your comment. So what we're going to be doing is 3 things. We're going to be doing a couple of stickers. We'll see. I may be doing more than 1 sticker, but it's going to be at least one of the premium Ron Henry. Thank you, Josh Habib, so much. Ron Henry stickers. You're going to get one of these. This is going to be one of the prizes. And then we're also going to give away a My Soil test kit. You guys know I love these guys. They're pretty awesome. So these are going to be part of the giveaway as well. It's one of the things you're going to be winning. And then, of course, the grand prize, the thing that everybody likes, that, got to do it. In support of all the talk I've been talking about as far as Turfplex and how awesome it is, and it would be uncool to not at least make it available for someone to win like a bottle, 1 gallon, just one gallon of Turfplex 2023. So this is my liquid fertilizer of choice. So we're going to be giving away all three of those things. We're going to be doing a sticker, at least one sticker, a soil test kit, and a gallon of Turfplex shipped to your door, courtesy of the Golf Course Lawn Store. So when the live stream's over, you guys know the rules. Put your comment in as far as what you're going to be doing this season for the rest of the year. And that's good. That's all you have to do to enter. That's it. You don't have to be a subscriber. You have to do any of that stuff. You know, if you want to like the video, I'd appreciate it. If you want to be a subscriber, would appreciate that too. But it's not strictly necessary to enter the contest. You see, it's like one of those things. No purchase necessary to win. All you have to do is be present and follow the rules as far as like the context of your comment. So hopefully you guys are going to take advantage of that. It'll be fun. I think you guys really enjoyed the last one, and it's a great way to help help you guys out that are trying to do something else cool in your lawn this growing season. Maybe a little bit of help between soil test and some liquid fert. Always like liquid fert, right? Okay, let me see with other few questions we have here. So Rohan Mystery, I think we've already helped you with this one, Rohan. I think you had a couple trees removed and plugged the areas. As soon as those areas fill in, PGR definitely put down, was gone a week. By the way, the lawn is a bit yellow, but hope it recovers soon. It will, it should, man. I mean, that's the thing with, as far as a grass type to that you can abuse, that can just take a licking and keep on ticking, Bermuda. I mean, the only thing that you cannot do with Bermuda, there's only one real cardinal sin when it comes to Bermuda, and that's shade. If you as long as you don't do that, like it will be all right. As long as you mow it and you keep shade off it, keep sunlight on it, you're gonna be just fine. You're gonna be just fine. That's the big thing. So yeah, just keep us posted, Rohan. Let us know how it continues to develop, how it keeps bouncing back, and go from that. And yeah, thanks so much, Papa Moslow. Yeah, the link is an affiliate link. So yeah, if you guys want to support the channel, feel free to use those. Again, that's it's not very much, but it's something, right? It helps pay for the Turfplex that I'm about to give away. Because I do pay for that. That comes out of the store. So you guys will be getting that. We'll be benefiting from that. Angela's in the house. She says, I love listening and watching your videos. So informative. Keep up the good work. By the way, is the competition open to anyone outside the USA? So here's the thing. I can do the stickers. I will send to anyone outside the United States. The stickers I'll do that. I mean, it's going to cost you money to mail it to you. But anyone internationally, if you are anywhere outside the United States, I will mail. The stickers you're open for that. You are open for that. But the soil test kit. Let me think about that. The soil test kit. Mailing it internationally is going to be an issue. And then also the Turfplex, definitely I can't do that internationally, because I mean, even if I could send it to you, it likely won't get through customs in your country, because it's not. I mean, unless it's registered there, they're not gonna allow it in the country. So stickers we can do. You guys are breaking me, man. You guys are you're gonna make me come out of pocket on some shipping here, but that's fine. We'll do that for anyone international. You guys are watching me from overseas, so if you are entered overseas and you happen to win a sticker, you will win. And if you happen to be let's say I do a couple of things, right? I do a couple stickers, the soil test kit, and the Turfplex. If you happen to win one of the things that I can't ship to you, I will send you a sticker. So how's that? That's that way you definitely get something if you're from overseas and you happen to win. But I can only do stickers. I can't do anything else, because it's going to be it's just there's the logistics of getting anything else into the country is going to be challenging. But yeah, Angela, feel free to enter your comment. And you can, you'll be in like everybody else. You'll be in like everybody else. Thanks for hanging out, Chris. Yeah, definitely have a safe and happy 4th. Same to you, sir. I really appreciate it. And Phil J says, "Hey, Ron, what is the PGR brand you recommend?" So what I recommend is a generic version of Syngentis Primo Max called T-Nex. If you can get Primo Max too if you want, but I mean it's going to be more expensive. But outside of going with the name brand, T-Nex is a great PGR. There's other products that have trinexapac ethyl in them that you can get an equally good result with. But T-Nex is the one that I've used, had great results with. The only thing with it is that you're gonna have to get it in a gallon quantity. Currently, trying to work on getting it in smaller quantities. We'll see. and a little bit's going to go forever. So really, you figure, I don't know, an ounce or 1 gallon is like, a multi-year supply. It's like 5-6 years for most people, even longer. So, but yeah, T-Nex is the one I would go with. If you decide you want to get T-Nex, I think I've got a link here for that. This guy right here. So, go with this on as far as your option for plant growth regulator. Phil, I've got tons of videos on applying T-Nex. Please, 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 if you don't listen to anything else I tell you in this live stream tonight, please listen to this. When it comes to plant growth regulators, kind of like herbicides, you absolutely got to follow the label rate. Like more, even a little bit more is not what, or say this, what even seems like a little bit more to you is a lot more to the grass. So follow the rate. I've got like a bunch of videos on T-Nex, on applying it, how to mix it, how to put it down. If you follow those, you will get a good result. But just follow those. Just follow the label rate if you decide to go with a plant growth regulator. Your second question, you says also my Kentucky bluegrass vanity strip was covered with building supplies for 1 month. Now the grass looks dead. Any recommendations for recovery? Oh, I mean, now that it's not covered, hopefully it'll bounce back. But if it's dead, you may have to seed it. Now I know if it's Bermuda, Bermuda's going to bounce back. Bermuda would definitely come back from that. That would not be enough to kill Bermuda permanently. But with Kentucky bluegrass, I don't know. I would imagine that with it getting sunlight now, it should come back. But you may have to reseed that one area that got covered. Give it some time. Don't be so quick to do that. Just give it some time and see if it bounces back now that all the building material is off the lawn, and see what we get from that. Okay, let's see what other questions we got. Questions on dollarweed. We got one here from John Gentry. He says, advice on killing dollarweed. Tried image and it yellowed my centipede, but didn't get rid of the dollarweed. I want to say that Spectricide will do dollarweed, John. Let me check. Let's see here. Don't make a liar. Make sure I'm not lying to you here. Let's see. Yeah, so if I look for dollarweed in the list of 470, yeah, it's in here. So, John, what I want to recommend is this product. You can probably get it at your local Home Depot. It's called Spectricide Weed Stop. This covers 470. Ooh, actually, no, you have centipede. No, so scratch that. No, you can't use this on centipede. No, scratch that. I just saw you had centipede, so you can't use this on centipede. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look and see. I'm gonna have to think of something else for you, John, because I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know of a herbicide. That product I just was showing you will absolutely should take care of dollarweed, but it's not. That one is not rated for centipede. They do make one that is rated for centipede, but I don't know if it also will take care of dollarweed as well. Like I think it's a purple label bottle that says, it literally says here for centipede. Yep, let me see here. Let me look here real quick. Let me look here real quick so I get an answer for you. No, they don't have all the weeds that it controls. Yep, no, yeah, it does. Here we go. Cool. I got the answer for you. Cool. So Spectricide is still the answer. Get the purple bottle. Do not get the orange one. Get the purple bottle because the purple one, as you can see, is rated for centipede and St. Augustine lawns. And literally, it says right here, it lists kills tough to kill weeds, including dollarweed and sandspur. So that one should work. You may have to order this one online. I'm not sure if this is one you're going to find at Home Depot or Lowe's, because that's like one of the more specialty ones. You have to find that one on Amazon or like somewhere else. Try Do My Own or something like that. But that one should work. Give that a shot. And again, do not get the orange one. Get that one because that one is literally. I'm gonna show one more time. This one literally says is designed for centipede and St. Augustine lawns. This guy should do the trick, and it literally like they're very proud of the fact that it takes care of dollarweed because it lists that particular weed right there in the bullets. So it should knock it out. Should knock it out. Lawn Master's in the live stream. What's going on, Lawn Master? You're a little bit late to the show, but always appreciate having you in. Always appreciate you coming in to hang out. As always fun. Let's see here. Let's see what else we got. So as far as getting rid of crabgrass in St. Augustine, yeah. So Eric, our Paricio, yes, there is a product you could use for that. I'm not sure if there's anything that is like you'll find easily in like a big box store. But there is a product called, let me see, crabgrass in St. Aug. No, actually, it's a good question. I'm not sure on that one because you can't use Conclorac You can't use Chloroc on crabgrass. You can't use. I was gonna tell you Fusilade, but that's gonna damage the St. Augustine too. So no, I don't have an answer for that one. Maybe I'm not sure if SMK's in or if anyone else has an answer for crabgrass and St. Augustine. I'm not sure what I can recommend for you that will kill the crabgrass but not also damage the St. Augustine. Don't know on that one, Eric. Let me do some research and get an answer for you. Make a note of this one. So crabgrass and St. Aug. Good one, man. Good stump. So crabgrass and St. Aug. So that's going to be one for next week when I can talk about. It might be the same answers I have now. I don't know, or if there is no such thing, that can do it. But I'll give it a good college try. I'll ask my buddies that are specialists in that space and see what they would recommend. Let's see here. Shelby Ammo says, "Hey Ron, any thoughts on Bermuda, Ron? I am in Fort Worth, Texas. I don't know. Some people use it and they get a good result with it. I'm not a fan of it. Primarily because then you have to be a lot more careful as far as products and herbicides that you put down, right? Because a good example, like if you like the herbicides that are safe for Bermuda are not safe for Kentucky bluegrass, which is what most people use in the Bermuda, right? They use Kentucky bluegrass and a Bermuda blend. When it comes to PGR, the application rate for Tenex is different for Bermuda. It's actually a lot lower for Bermuda than it is for Kentucky bluegrass. So whenever you're putting it down, now you have to kind of choose, and you have to tend to go with the lower rate. And for me, I just don't. For me, I'm not like the benefits of it. Also including that the lawn is green later on in the fall or into the winter months. I don't like mowing in the when it's cold, so that's another reason why I kind of stray against it. But the main reason is that you're just really complicating your life, right? I want whenever my lawn goes dormant, that it goes dormant and it's done. And as far as like the products I have to put on it are relatively simple because all I have to worry about is like if it's safe for Bermuda warm season grass, I'm good to go. I don't have to read the label and be like, okay, is it safe for Kentucky bluegrass and is also safe for Bermuda? And then I'm also having to deal with potentially two different types of like lawn diseases because there's certain funguses or lawn fungi that are more prone in KBG, and there's ones that you may or may not have to deal with in Bermuda. So it's just I get it. It's kind of a novelty thing, I think. Some people might say that overseeding your lawn with Arden 15 is a novelty thing. So they probably kind of fall in the same space. But for me, it's just a complication that I just wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to just introduce into my lawn. I've got enough going already with like two Bermuda cultivars in my lawn. I got like the Tifway and the 49 and Arden. That's enough for me. I don't want to add a cool season grass to my warm season grass. I'm good. For the same reason I don't do rye is the same reason I don't want to do blue Meta. That's the same reason. And honestly, you don't really need it, in my opinion, because with especially with Arden 15 as the deep color of that grass, how deep the color is. I mean, it looks awesome. It looks really, really good. So it's there's no compelling reason for me to go down that road. Hopefully that helps. I mean, some people do it, not for me. But if you want to do it, go for it, man. I mean, it's your lawn. You can do whatever you want with it. So just don't think just because Ron doesn't like it, or I wouldn't do it means that's you're committing some cardinal sin. If you want to do it, go for it. Just not my thing. Let's see. Jay King has a question. Says, do herbicides have a shelf life after it's mixed? Yes, they have effectiveness after they're mixed. Yeah, a lot of them do. So I want to mix some MSM turf, but it won't be easy in a small quantity. Yeah, but to answer your question, yes, most herbicides once they're mixed with water that are activated, you don't want to leave them sitting around for very long. A good example is something like Negate. Like if you take something like Negate and you mix it in its suspended solution, that's only really good for, they say 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. That's as long as you can keep that suspended solution before you have to get rid of it. So hopefully that helps. So yeah, you should find some way to dispose of it as well. All right, last few questions before we wrap up. Jeff Michael says, "Hey Ron, new to real mowing this year. Did a small leveling in May. My front and backyards are more of a bowl shape than dome shaped. Okay, so like a dip. What is the best way to mow with a real mower to avoid height lines? It depends, Jeff. So ideally, I find any kind of slope changes. Those are, for me, I get the best result hitting those at an angle. So don't go across. Don't go like head on. Like going at an angle tends to work pretty well. You have to play with it and see, man. Without actually seeing it or being there to see how bad it is, I can't give you the best tip, because what happens is if you have a bowl, right, and you go straight into it, what tends to happen is it does a pretty decent job going down, but when you start going uphill, you're going to either scalp right where it begins turning up, and the mower is going to tend to come off the turf, bounce a little bit going up. If you have a grass catcher, that can help some too. But overall, the best result I find comes from just going diagonally. That's for me. So give that a shot. Hopefully it'll help for you. That's the best advice I can give you without actually seeing what you got going on. And I think we are close to that. Let's see. SMK is saying, hey, Ron, quick question. Do you have any advice? I have a height of cut. See, I always like when SMK asks a question because it makes me and I can actually hopefully answer it, because he's like so much smarter than me when it comes to like lawn care products and stuff like that. That if there's a question about mowing that I can chime in on, it makes me feel good. It's made my evening, sir. All right. So the question is, I have a height of cut difference with my mowing passes. It can't be the JD because it's serviced. I have no idea what's causing it. I would check it, man. I would check that height of cut on both sides of the bed knife. Check it on both sides. Make sure, because you said it was just recently serviced. There's nothing that says that whenever they serviced it, maybe when they were tightening things down, they didn't check it after they were done. They should have. They really should have. They should have like serviced it, adjusted it, and then locked everything. I'm not sure with the JD how you do it, but if there is if it's kind of like the Toro where you have no like bolts that lock it into place. If it's similar, you really need to check it afterwards. And you also need to check it after transporting it. So if it gets knocked around at all, you want to check it to make sure on both sides it's the same. Outside of that, I know that a buddy of mine, Chris in Athens, had an issue with a weird height of cut issue, kind of what you're describing. And what it was is that the bearings, one of the bearings in the drum, one of the rear drums on I forget which side it was. One of the rear drum bearings was beginning to go out. So the drum, I can't really show it, but like say this is the drum, right? Both of them and we'll put a split down the middle. Like this is like both the split, right? One of the drums was just ever so slightly higher up because the bearing was damaged. It wasn't basically the same height as the other one. So something like that could cause it. Outside of the drum being like giving a bearing issue in the drum or something like that, I'm gonna really lean towards like the height of cut is not set the same way on both sides of the mower. That is what I would check first. Especially since you said it was just service. That's what I would check first. If they replaced bearings in the drums when they serviced it, hopefully they checked that. They set everything up properly too when they got done with it. They checked all that to make sure everything is even, because those are the only two things really that can cause the problem that you're talking about, SMK. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully it's not the drum problem, because that's a more expensive and more, at any rate, it's more of a headache because the mower's got to go back to them. If it's not, if it's a difference between the bed knife, then that you can fix yourself. Just get your height of cut gauge and just check it on both sides and adjust it. Anything more than 3/1000s, that's as far as I'll allow out. 3/1000s is what I aim for on both sides. That's really being anal, but that's what I shoot for. Hopefully that helps, sir. Hopefully that's not the issue. But yeah, hopefully gave you some options, some things you can look for. All right. Bush to Kush says that blindside works great for crabgrass and St. Augustine. So there you go. There's your answer. I have to look at the label and see, make sure that's the case. But if blindside is rated for St. Aug and it kills crabgrass, then yeah, go for it. Should be good to go. Thanks for chiming in there. All right. And then finally we got Lawn Therapy saying, happy 4th of July weekend. Been having some trouble catching these 7 p.m. live streams during the summer. Much easier during the fall and winter. Anyways, thanks for jumping in. Just to smash that like button. Yeah, man. We had over 100 people in tonight, which is really cool. I didn't expect very much tonight because it's 4th of July weekend. People are out traveling, kind of like Josh Habib, out like camping, doing things with their family. So I expected a lower turnout, but you guys still came in full force, man. That's still pretty awesome. But guys, I think that is it. I think that's all we have for this weekend. Thank you guys so much for coming to hang out, for all the great questions. If you're not yet a subscriber and you find these valuable, you feel like supporting the channel, hit that subscribe button ever so gently. And if you also enjoy the content, also be sure to hit that like button ever so gently. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a safe and fun Independence Day weekend. Do something fun with your family. Get out there and barbecue in the lawn, or mow your grass, whatever it is you do. Celebrate in the way you want to celebrate. And we will catch you guys next time. Be sure to enter also in for the live stream. Let me know what you're working on in the comment section. And then next week, we're going to choose some winners. I will see you guys next time. Have an amazing weekend, guys. Take care.